All right, we are
I don't,
both here
I don't,
now.
I don't have to see it to know I'm here. I know I'm here, and that's
I
all that
don't need no
matters.
instructions to know how to rock.
Oh shit! How's everyone doing today? All right. Really, we're gonna sit right here today, Kitty. Okay. You know what? That's fine.
Directly in front of the screen.
Of my left screen, where my information is, my Twitch stream, my Hey Pixel, hey. Oh shit! That's on me. Thank you, Vigilant. Uh, say something, Josh.
Something, Josh. You had me muted. How dare you?
I had you muted. I suck. I think we're good. Good to see you, Pixel. Good to see you, Vigilant. Thanks for dropping in, guys. Um,
Gladly.
and we got Josh over on the other screen. We are just doing our weekly D&D hoopla pla bullcrap chat, and I think this week we were wanting to talk about the new addendum.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, Playtest 8.
So start talking about what you want to while I try to get my
Um,
stuff to work again here.
so
And
I mean, so like I've kind of been talking to you about it on and off for like the last couple of days. First of all, this has got me building a barbarian.
you're right in my screen, Kitty.
So yeah, that's the whole thing. Also, the new like monk stuff that I'm looking at, it's like, oh man, I can't wait for this to come out just so I can build Batman. Like 100% the new monks like stuff is
You
so
got to
much
move,
better.
buddy. You
I'm
got to
so
move.
into it.
Keep going.
But yeah, so this is like our update to they gave us barbarians, druid, monks. So this is our primal update, I guess is what you would call it.
Okay.
Because they did arcane, they did what do they call the holy magic stuff now? I don't remember.
Divine.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's arcane, divine, and primal is how they're splitting up magic now.
Actually, they
Um,
backed all of that down
oh,
from
did
what I
they?
understood.
Well, that's how they still how they put out their books is off of that anyway.
That's
And
why we're
they're still
playtesting, but yeah.
yeah. I mean, they're still referring to it as primal magic in the book. So I mean, like whatever. But yeah, so this is just kind of like an update to those kind of things. We did see a little bit of the Berserker in like the last one.
Yeah.
They've changed it since then, and I actually am really liking the Berserker now.
Okay.
And I like that they've given Berserker like stuff to do outside of combat now, where it's like I can use my some stuff doesn't make sense to me, right? Like where it's like, oh, I can use rage to stealth doesn't make any sense to me at all. It's just like I'm hidden, like it doesn't make any sense. But um, I like that they're allowing you to do that though, because like that's giving them stuff outside of combat. Because berserkers are very much like I am very combat focused. I might be able to break a door down if you need me to, but otherwise I'm not doing much outside of combat because I'm the dumb guy, and all of the main stats that we use are my two main dump stats. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, so like it's good that they're giving them some utility outside of combat. Um,
Isn't
but
that going to just turn him into the ranger?
I mean, no.
Rangers are badass if you give them opportunities to use their stuff out of combat, but how often does that happen?
Well, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like the utilities that they're actually giving the barbarians are stuff that's like regularly going to come up though, right? So like you can use your rage for like instead of like for you can use strength instead of like intelligence, you can use strength instead of wisdom for like certain stuff now. So it actually
So
lets you do stuff.
that's fucking stupid.
And that's what I was saying. Like I don't agree with like certain aspects of it. Like I don't think that I should be able to use my strength roll to hide. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Certain stuff I can understand where like I can use this for
I agree with you,
like
Vigilant. I don't like that.
I can use strength for like intimidation. I'm fine with that. Because like
But that makes sense.
like, stuff like that makes sense to me. But like the stuff where it's like, oh, I can hide based on my strength doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Just because like literally that is I'm rolling for intimidation to make sure that nobody looks at me. Don't look at me.
This is all built. I'm not gonna go on old man rant. Go ahead, keep going.
Here, let me actually get down to what it actually says on there, so I can actually talk to what it actually gives you.
Shit, that's
so
funny.
I can say what the actual things are. Where is it? They are doing stuff like feral instinct with them, so like you get advantage on. That's like the whole thing. They have actually changed some of the weapon mastery stuff as well.
Dude, I'm looking at the barbarian branches of the tree level 6 ability for the Path of the World tree.
Which thing? Hold on, let me scroll down to it. Is that the one that lets you
While
do?
your rage is active, yeah, that you can teleport an enemy to within 5 feet of you while your rage is active if they fail a strength saving throw.
Yes.
That's fucking stupid as shit.
Look at the travel along the trees, level 14.
Yelling in the dark. Vigilant says you're yelling in the dark. You can't see me. If you do, I'll kill you. So you can get your stealth roll.
That's all it is. But no, go look at the level 14 ability for that. That one's going to really not make you very happy. That's what I'm saying. Like this one is, it looks like it is very much supposed to be a support barbarian. So like they don't get a lot of like extra stuff for their rage. Like they're not doing bunch of extra damage. Like it is very much like, let me help my party out. Because it's like I can move a person, I can push them out of the way and stuff like
You
that.
can briefly travel along the world tree when you're activated. Let me restart. You can briefly travel along the world tree when you activate your rage and as a bonus action while it's active. So first when you activate it and then continuing that point forward as a bonus action, you can teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space you can see.
Yes.
In addition, when you teleport using this feature, you can bring up to 6 willing creatures who are within 10 feet of yourself, and the range you can teleport increases to 500 feet. Yeah. Each creature teleports to an unoccupied space of your choice within 10 feet of your destination space. You can teleport other creatures with you only once per rage. So 5 fucking times a long rest at this point.
Yeah. There's also ways for you to get your rage back now as well. Like something you can trade out for getting rage back. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. But
dude, it doesn't. I mean, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but like the abilities for this one are moving people, giving people bonus temp HP is really what that class does. So, I'm saying it is just a battlefield kind of control and like support barbarian. Like they're not getting like the crazy, like I can smack something and do 58 damage in a turn at level 2 stuff, like they're not getting that kind of stuff. Theirs is just support and battlefield control. And the teleport thing, I think that would get more use outside of combat than it would inside of combat. Because I don't see how it would benefit me
to
Pixel. Move 6 of my people at once.
Your game is going to come to a grinding fucking halt constantly with this class as you argue about how far I can teleport every round. If I'm raging, I can do it once per. My rage lasts for 10 rounds, so hypothetically, I can teleport me and my group 500 feet. So that's almost a mile of teleportation Johns we could make once per round. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Not once per rage, though? I thought it was once per rage.
Well, how long does your rage last? Oh, yeah, okay, I follow what you're saying. Yeah, you can do that one single ability once per rage.
Right.
So you 5 times, you can still do it 5 times, 2,500 feet, and then you can do whatever you want in between to get those. It's just going to be a logistical bullshit nightmare. Yeah, and let's be honest, in combat it means nothing, because how many times you guys playing on a map where 500 feet of teleportation does anything?
Right, and that's what I was saying. That seems like it'd be more of an outside of combat thing. Like it also wouldn't really benefit. It wouldn't benefit you to be able to move you and 6 people in combat 500 feet. Like
I don't care. I don't care. I'm not using any of this. Unless I'm being paid by a group, in which case I'll have to learn to do it to get paid. To if a group wants to run 5.5 and they're paying, I'll learn it and I'll run it. But no, this is not making. Nothing is coming to my world out of this shit.
There's definitely some stuff that they are definitely going to change before this comes out. Like they're going to have to, and they even say that at the start of this one that some of these things are more powerful than they should be. Some of these things are less powerful than they should be, and before it comes out, they're going to adjust to balance it all. And they flat out say that at the beginning of this whole thing.
Right, speed run right there, Pixel. Can you say speed run instantly? Vigilant kicked in, said I'd say one person 30 feet seems reasonable. Not 500 feet and 6 people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though.
But that's the capstone for that class. It's a level 14 ability. How many people are even going to see that shit? First of all.
Yeah, I was about to say, what you guys got to keep in mind is this is marketing.
Oh yeah.
This is every player
Right.
and every, not DM, because we're only 15% of the purchasing power market. They need to appeal to 85% of the people that say, "Oh my god, this stuff is fucking cool. I need to play this and I need to buy this." They don't need to worry about the 15% that are going, "This is broken, this is unsustainable, this is going to ruin the fucking game. You can't sustain this." We won't buy it. They know we're not going to buy it. We're the gatekeeper for the entire hobby and the product. And once we're removed, their instant D&D Beyond AI driven fucking Insta games are what they want. That's going to make Hasbro more money than what's going on right now. You know, we don't have to like this, DMs, because they know we're not going to like it.
Um, there are some things that I do
in the air, 500 feet of teleportation wherever they want. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say there are certain things that I do like about it. I like the changes to Druid and Monk. I do actually like those. As far as like Druid's wild shape isn't overpowered anymore, you know, where it's not like I can just wild shape, get all my HP back, come back out, be full HP, and just continue to do that. Like that's not a thing anymore. You keep your armor class, your HP, you keep all of that when you wild shape now. It doesn't go up. You do get the proficiencies of that, minus any layer actions. If a creature has layer actions, you don't get any of that stuff when you wild shape. So like some of that stuff I am for. So it's not too bad. There is a thing in there that on the Druid says another one of those things where it's like this doesn't make any fucking sense. Where it like jumps their ability. Okay, so it's like it's I think it's part of the subclass.
We'll get to vigilant.
I think it's part of the subclass for the Druid that they put in here, where it's like, oh, you can power up your cantrips, and now any cantrip that you have that does 10 feet or more is extended up to 300 feet, which is just wild to me. I mean, they're still cantrips, so it's not like they're going to be game changing, but like for me to be able to hit something with every cantrip that has any kind of 10-foot reach or more is yeah. And it's an additional 300 feet. It's not just 300 feet. It's like if this does 60 feet, now it does 360 feet, which is wild to me. But
I'm more okay with you shooting magic that can go 60 feet, 300 feet than I am with the barbarian that can suddenly give everyone a group hug and teleport them every 500 fucking feet away. Let's be honest. That's the one thing you're cool with, but you're not cool with the shooting magic extra feets?
No, I'm not.
Come on, man.
I'm saying that, again, that's going to be more of an outside of combat thing. People aren't going to use it. And also, it's within 10 feet of them. They're just not even touch range. Like I said, there are certain things about the barbarian that I'm fine with, but like it's more so the Druid and the Monk that I'm liking the changes for.
Shit.
Because it actually
having some fun with the new Unearthed Arcana. Welcome, Mindsight. Good to see you in here. Thanks for dropping in, guys.
Because it actually seems to like be changing them more for the better. Like monks aren't going to be the super speedy fastest thing in the world anymore. They get an extra 10 feet. Some of the subclasses might extend that more. But they can also give that extra speed to people around them as long as they're within either 5 or 10 feet from them whenever they do their super speed thing. So they can actually
well,
the party faster.
I've got it pulled up real quick here. Let me just read off the designer note Monk updates. And this is just going to be reading. This is the version of Wall of Text. I'll try to use a non-annoying voice. Design notes Monk updates. Here are the main updates in this class since its last play-tested version. Martial arts sees the return of monk weapons, and the martial arts die applies to both unarmed strikes and monk weapons. Bonus unarmed strike is no longer tied to the attack action. Dexterous attack now allows you to use your dexterity modifier in place of your strength modifier when setting the saving throw DC of the grapple and push option on your unarmed strike.
Yeah.
Weapon mastery is cut. Monk's Discipline, formerly Martial Discipline, options have been redesigned to have options don't require spending discipline points. Yes. Uncanny Metabolism, formerly Heightened Metabolism, moves to level 2 and now regains discipline points when you roll initiative, as well as regaining of number of hit points at level 2. Deflect Attacks, formerly Deflect Missiles, now also works against melee attacks, and that damage of the reaction now includes your Dexterity modifier. Stunning Strike now deals force damage if the creature succeeds on the saving throw. Heightened Discipline is a new feature that increases the effects of Flurry of Blows, Patient Defense, and Step of the Wind. Self-Restoration allows you to remove some conditions at the end of your turn. Deflect energy now also works against melee attacks. Superior defense can now be activated at the start of your turn instead of using an action or a bonus action. Uh, perfect discipline now gives you expended discipline points if you have 3 or less. Body and Mound is a new level 20 feature. What the actual fuck?
Now, again, most of those things that you listed are at higher levels, like disciplines, survivors like 14, perfect disciplines 15, and like the superior defense is a level 18 thing, you know. So like a lot of those are higher level things. But
And they're higher level things now. They're everyone on my stream that has said, "What the fuck? Holy shit! Jesus! ... knows this in comparison to what's going on in 5e," and just went literally as I spoke for my crowd. What the fuck?
See, but you actually read the thing though. Like actually read them because it's not what you guys are thinking. Deflect attacks is kind of a whole thing. But again, that is where the only way that the deflect attack thing works is you have to zero out the.
No, I'm all about reading
like
it and understanding how the rule works.
Yeah.
Level 1 martial arts. Your practice of martial arts gives you mastery of combat styles that use your unarmed strikes and monk weapons, which are the following: simple melee weapons. Martial weapons have the light property.
Yeah.
You gain the following benefits while you are unarmed or wielding only monk weapons, and you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield. You can make one unarmed strike as an attack bonus, the same thing as we've always had, right?
Yeah.
You can use dexterity instead of strength for the attack and damage of your unarmed strike and monk weapon. In addition, when you choose the grapple or shove option, you can use your dexterity modifier instead of strength to determine the savings throw. That's an upgrade, and that seems fair.
Right.
Agility in martial arts is always paramount to strength.
Yeah.
So I can't argue that. Strength helps, but agility and dexterity is your primary factor.
Yeah.
You can roll a d6 in place of the normal damage of an armed strike or monk weapons. This die change as you gain monk levels, as shown in the martial arts column of the monk's table, which is just the same as it's been. It's just got upgraded on its basic damage. While you aren't wearing any armor or wielding a shield, your base armor class equals 10 plus your dex and wisdom. Same. Monk's discipline, self-discipline, and martial arts training allows you to harness a well of extraordinary power within yourself. Your access to this energy is represented by a number of discipline points. No longer key points, now discipline points, correct?
Yeah, that was one of the things I was like, okay, cool.
Your monk level determines the number of points you have as shown in the discipline point column of the monk table. You can spend these points to fuel certain monk features, same as we have. You start knowing 3 such features: Flurry of Blows, Patient Defense, and Step of the Wind, each of which is detailed below. So at level 2, you get all 3 of these abilities, not anything different. When you spend a discipline point, is unavailable until you finish a short rest or a long rest. At the end of your rest, you gain all of your expended points. So is this official? This is the official D&D released UA available over on D&D Beyond Mind's Eye.
Yeah.
This is the current new playtesting shit. And I'd normally say shit like stuff, but no, this is shit like poo. So yes, yeah, you're right, Vigilant. Some short rests would become very important because every class is gaining they shit on short rests now.
To an extent. Some of the stuff, like they get 1 back on a short rest instead of all of it. Or
he just got all of them back. I just literally read all of them.
I'm not saying the monk specifically. I'm saying some of them. Like Barbarian, I think you get 1 rage back for a short rest instead of all of them, something like that.
So you spend 1 discipline point to make 2 unarmed strikes as bonus actions. You take the disengage action as a bonus action. Alternatively, you can spend 1 discipline point to take both the disengage and dodge action as a bonus action. Move away. Holy shit, that's crazy. That's fun. You can take the dash action as a bonus action. Alternatively, is there something new with the ranger? Not lately.
So far, the only stuff that we've seen for the ranger buffed them a lot.
Rangers got buffed to hell, but that's all incumbent on what they do with the weapon.
Yeah.
Attack features as well. That's going to affect what they decide to add and keep in regards to that is going to shift a huge amount of this. Because as I'm reading this, what it seems to me is they're buffing the shit out of the monk because everyone else is getting some really cool shit with just stabbing with a dagger or hitting with a club. Now a monk's got to do some Holly chunk kung fu shit, so I don't get to do a cleave with a glaive. I don't get to do a daze with a backstab with my club. I got to do all that shit with my hands. So they're making up for that lack of weapon property here.
I think so far. I think they also made it so it's a higher level before you can start counting them as magic attacks.
Yeah, Rangers needed a buff. No one ever wants to play a Ranger side for 4 level for. I've talked about that a lot, Mind's Eye. The problem is not the class. The problem is the gameplay.
Yes.
Rangers shine and are the most dominating class in survival, exploration, travel-based combat or in campaigns.
Yeah.
But no one wants to do the daily grind. No one wants to do the hex crawls. No one wants to do the real tracking. They just want to roll perception. Can I smell the dragon in the air? Fuck, give me a perception check. I got a plus 11, so there's no need for a ranger based on abused game mechanics and unused game scenarios. Yeah. That's my counter to that.
So like think about is his name Aragorn from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah,
he's a ranger. Like that's what he is. Like his whole thing is like, let me track these people. Let me, I know how to hide better than people. Like that's his
a lizard holy word. Yeah. Go ahead.
But I'm just saying like that's what he is, and like that's how you're supposed to play them is like how he appears within that movie. But we don't. Mm-hmm. People don't really do games like that anymore. Not really. So now they've just made them ridiculously good archers in the update, and they can move a bajillion fucking feet a turn. Like.
So, and it's what I was kind of laughing about in the Discord when the dude put up all the math to do a 2,342 foot move per turn. I'm like, and that's going to kick ass in that 30 by 50 room, huh?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
You're just going to keep running around in circles, and if you say I'm going to use all my movement, I'm going to make you count all those fucking squares out so the rest of the group is ready to strangle you. After you've done 2,360 feet, I'd have to divide that by 5, so it would only be 450 squares of movement that I'd make you do.
Speaking of which, I know you're going to like how...
I appreciate the math on that.
I was going to say, speaking of which, you're going to like how conjuration works now within this book, because it literally is 100%. Instead of it being like how like Chris was like, oh, I'm going to get 30 birds and they're each going to have their own turn. That is not a thing anymore. It is you summon a swarm of birds. It moves when you move. And it does one attack. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it's not like, hey, let's do a bunch of things. And they did the same thing with like summon celestial, summon elemental. It's like, for like elementals, it's like a pillar of light. It's basically like a small moonbeam, basically, instead of So they've changed a lot of that stuff in here.
So let's keep going through the monk though. Real quick, while we got it up, we're still early in the stream. We got plenty of time. So, level 2 uncanny metabolism. You regain all your expended when you roll initiative.
Yes.
You regain all your expended discipline points.
I don't think
when you do so, roll. Huh?
I don't think that should be a thing. That's
when you do so, roll your martial arts die and regain a number of hit points equal to your monk level plus the number rolled. Yeah. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So,
I mean,
okay,
one time per day. But I mean, I still think that's a little. I mean, on one hand, like that's all they have. They have like 3 key points at level 1. So like
you spend it, your unarmored movement, your speed increases by 10 feet while you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield. This bonus increases when you reach certain monk levels, as shown on the monk table. So you're gradually going to get more mobility. Still keep you as one of the more mobile classes, base movement wise. Yeah. Deflect attack. You can use your reaction to deflect melee and ranged attacks against you that deal bludgeoning, piercing damage. Okay, not necessarily vigilant. Vigilant says, so monks get all key points back when they short rest, correct. And one time in battle at the start of initiative, also correct.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't think they should get that. I'm fine with the bonus HP thing, like the temp HP, but I don't think they should be able to get the key points back at the start of initiative. But,
deflect melee. Okay, so you can use your reaction to deflect melee and ranged attacks against you that deal bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, which is all non-magically based damage.
Yeah.
When you do so, the total damage you take from such attack is reduced by 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier plus your monk level. So at level 3, that's going to be, because we all know our monk's going to have a +4 in dexterity because no one was going to roll less than that. So you're going to have a 7. +4 from your deck stomp modifier, +3 for your monk level. So if you don't hit a monk for at least 8 damage, 9 damage, you may as well not bother hitting them. So if you reduce the damage to 0, which is going to be almost every attack at level 3, by the way, based on averages, like it or not, you can spend 1 discipline point to redirect some of that attack force. If you do so, choose a creature within 5 feet of you if the attack was a melee attack, or 60 feet if it isn't behind total cover if the attack was ranged. That creature must succeed on dexterity savings throw or take damage equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die plus your dexterity modifier.
Yeah.
So not only do I have to hit you for 9 to even hurt you, but I can hit you for an average of your dexterity plus martial arts die is 6, 12, 6, dexterity 4, 10. So that's going to be 10 damage on an average if I can't do at least 9 damage to you once per turn on a reaction.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Yeah, it is a reaction, so you're right, Pixel, you're 100%. Action economy takes a lot of bite out of this, so just hit your monk 6 times a combat, and it doesn't matter. But yeah, so it does require consumption of the action economy, aka the resources. Yeah. I don't like the amount of resilience that's going to give your monk every turn. You have to attack them multiple times per turn to cost them anything. Period. The end. To anything. Otherwise, it's tactically as a DM, it's an absolute waste to attack your monks now. Those are resources that you need to attack the cleric with. Those are resources you need to attack the wizard with. Ignore the fucking monk in combat because you're going to have to spend so much extra resource to get around to level 3's defenses. You're gimping the rest of your combat.
And this is why I think that they're going to
easy to ignore, easy to play around and ignore. Go ahead, sorry.
This is why I think they're going to have to do something with monsters because like they are clearly trying to improve combat for players to where it gives them a bunch of options to have like cool moments and do cool things. So like monsters have to be able to equally bite back, or it makes combat like a why even do it kind of thing. So that's why I'm thinking that they're going to have to do something new with monsters. Like you can't just roll over the 5e monsters as they are. You have to add like pack tactics to a bunch of monsters. You'll have to add like them being able to like regain stuff throughout combat stuff, or you're gonna have to throw 1,000 people at them.
Yeah, Vigilance saying that he is agreeing with you. Been saying that since the beginning of 5.5, and that's why I've been saying it's not. You guys aren't looking at it from the business standpoint. You're looking at it like they actually give a shit about what gamers think. They give a shit about what consumers think, and consumers being players want cool buttons to push and cool abilities to use. How they work is not the player's problem. How they work is my problem as a dungeon master. And they want me to say, fuck this mess, so you guys go play through online portals hosted on D&D Beyond. It's absolute business. It can't go any farther than that. It's not an honest discussion if we don't realize that they have to appeal to the consumer. The DM is not the consumer in this case. We have been up till this point, but they're figuring out how to push us out. Putting shit on here that is so unsustainable that I cross my arms and say, I'm not going to do this. And the players buy the new shit and go, well, I guess we'll play online. It's business. So it's hard to be objective about it, understanding the fact that, number one, most of the cool shit's never going to come into play because you're not going to play past level 7 or 8. And number two, it's not going to be sustainable for campaigns. It's going to break away from story. We're going back into video game mode now. And that's easier for them to merchandise than what we've been playing up to this point.
And that's what I was saying, like in defense of like this cool stuff that people are reading out. It's like, yeah, these are super cool things, but most people aren't going to ever touch them. Like how many campaigns go past level 12? You know, like how many? Not a lot. They have one written campaign, 2 now. I think 2
I agree.
Go to 20.
100% agree. What's up?
You know, so but it gives them more interesting stuff to do at lower levels now. Which is what I think they're trying to accomplish. I think they're trying to make it so it's like oh, there's more stuff you can do at lower levels because
Mind's Eye says, or they go to Pathfinder, or I say, or we keep playing 5e.
It's all supposed to be compatible, so I mean, like
yeah. There's nothing. It's just no different than a couple of dudes I know from back in the day that call me a newbie kiddo because I play 5e instead of 1e like they do. You know. Oh, you're gonna go play with the little kids. It's always been an option to stay with the edition that you like.
How dare
it's always been that option, man.
Form of D&D that it's ever been. Oh no. D&D is
this is for the one D&D stuff. This is I guess this is what they're talking. Mind's Eye. That's still the big debate. they're calling it 5.5. They're calling it 1D&D. When the first few playtests came out, there was so much negative pushback that they assured us that everything was going to be backwards compatible. Not forward. Notice they haven't said forward compatible.
Right.
If you want to use 5.5, you got to use 5.5. But if you want to play in 5, you can still use some 5.5 if you want. It's not forward compatible, it's backward compatible. Yeah. Or I had it the other way. You know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to decide on what system you're going to use. Or you do like every other D&D player in the world and stop worrying about what the edition that you're playing in and take what you want and build what you want and have fun with it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like there are certain things.
Yeah, it might be what they become. Pixel's got a comment real quick. I'm sorry, and I'll let you run your mouth. Don't make players too OP. It's part of the story to flee and use your head on how to get the upper hand and lose close friends. That's the fucking thing that makes the game so full of life. Is that we encounter death. That's what you think. I agree.
I mean, but I'm not disagreeing at all on that.
Mine, Pixel, you're a DM. I'm a DM. Vigilant, you're a DM. Mind's Eye, you're a DM. We're all in agreement that this is some unsustainable horse shit. Josh is a player. This is all really cool shit. That it's just an illustration of the marketing, and no one's wrong. No one's wrong. It's just acknowledging what it is.
And I'm not even like fully disagreeing with you guys. I'm saying that there is some.
Mind's Eye said he's only DM'd once, but still, Yeah,
and I'm not disagreeing with you guys about any of this. What I'm saying though is that there are some positives that are in it. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying there is some fun stuff that is within this that makes some classes more interesting to play than they have been.
Mm-hmm. Vigilant says he's staying in 5e, and Pixel says I got a point. Mind's Eye says I'm building my world campaign for 1 to 20, and honestly, I run every campaign with the intent to get to 20. I haven't made it there yet in 5e. Have not made it there yet, but I don't plan for a campaign to end before 20. Life tends to happen and do a really good job of fucking them up before then anyway.
I think our highest is 8, 9.
8, 9, yeah.
Somewhere around there. I think it's 8. I think 8's our highest right now.
Yeah, so it's life happens. Yeah. To run a long world building sustained campaign takes a little while. Years. Yeah. Well, to be fair, 6 months of last year was y'all.
Yeah. With
all kinds of life happening, and I'm not saying like shame on, but when you got 5-6 people coming in the out of campaigns with life, yeah, it happens. Yeah. We should have played 100 sessions. I think we probably played 59 sessions out of the possible 100 that we could have had. So, it is what it is. Life happens, guys. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, before life happens, 2.5 years, right? Up to 17. Yeah, in a perfect world, you're playing every week. Yeah, I was thinking we would be like most of the way done with the campaign at the 2.2 year mark. It is what it is. Well, yeah, shame on me for planning, right? But anyway, so keeping in context, what we're talking about, the DMs are kind of like grumping. The players like, oh fuck yeah, this is cool, and that's the great divide among us, But I'm agreeing with you. I am, there are some cool looking buttons to push. Yeah. My job is not to look at a skill and go, oh, that would be so fun to do. My job is to look at that skill and figure out how it interacts with a possible 78 other subclasses' cool new skills in conjunction with a bunch of monsters and scenario that I have to keep believable and engageable. So that's why my reaction is that shit, because it's unsustainable shit. I can't look at it as a player because I'm not a player.
I mean, we've had this discussion before with like people who want to come to tables with like power builds, and it's like when everybody's super, no one's super,
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, even though there's power creep, like it's going to flat out anyway because everybody's going to be powerful,
Pixel kind of kicked it. Yeah, you're right. And I guess it's cool with the new thing. Everything is new to you. You don't know the D&D community was so big, but it feels like this new thing is putting D&D on easy mode. From a DM's point of view, it is for the players. It's putting it on hard mode for us. Because we're going to be challenged. Let's just pretend that my group decides to go to 5.5. And I begrudgingly go along with it. I've got to work this much harder to balance everything out, to still make it feel challenging, like you're saying. The players are handed this pile of power. I've now got to build the world up around it to maintain the illusion they're not as powerful as they are, even though we all know they are. It's just fucking effort to reward gimme buttons.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. 5e already is like
Yeah,
that, you know.
and that's why I'm not going to 5.5.
But the only reason that like I'm more for this, I think, is because it gives people more to do in combat. You know, which because in my opinion, that is where 5e is the weakest, is combat. Like it is. I mean, there's not a lot of like planning or maneuverability stuff. You have flank, that's really about it that they have in 5e. There's not really bonuses for any, like, you know, oh,
Yeah.
I have the high ground, I get a bonus for this kind of stuff. You know, there's no real reason for that. But within this, each of these classes that they've demonstrated in this gives you some kind of battlefield control. You can move people around. You can you know, get yourself out of damage range. You can you know, move opponents and stuff like that. Like each of these gives like some kind of like new thing that you can do within combat that makes it more interesting, just in general. You know, but again, and I told you this before, like I'm interested to see. I want to see a monster manual come out for this. Like I know we're not going to get a Dungeons Master's guide until it's already out and stuff like that. I want to see monsters for this because I want to see them change monsters to balance it with the players, and it not just be the 5e monsters. You know,
Yeah, go ahead.
because like I mean, what's a goblin going to do against most of these people at level 2? You know.
So yeah, Pixels was just still doing the math. We're still tripping on the barbarian. But I mean, if we had 6 barbarians, 500 feet each, and they can move the full group, so one turn equals at 3,000 feet. Yeah. I'm with you on that. And I'm agreeing with you, Josh. And this is the one thing I want to put up there again. This is apologies, jaded DM here speaking, not from a position of authority, from a position of experience. How fucking long and drug out is combat now, as simple as it is?
Yeah.
So now everyone's got to decide which weapon they want to switch to and argue with the DM about, no, I had this in hand. Well, I'll use my free action because I want to be able to trip him with this attack. And next turn, I want to switch back to my hammer so I can use a day's attack. And then on and on and all about that. So is it going to help combat for it to be more fun and take longer?
See, I don't know. I don't know that it's going to take longer, though, is what I'm saying. Like
it will absolutely take longer. If it's an addition to something that's already there, it's an additional die, it's an additional it's an additional action, it's an additional reaction. Everyone gets an action, a bonus action, a reaction every turn.
Yeah.
We're getting extra things to add on, and in some cases, people don't even use their bonus actions in combat right now. Barbarian, I'd like to rage as a bonus action. They don't touch that bonus action the rest of the fucking game. But now they get to do something with almost every one of their bonus actions. Every class is getting something to do bonus action-wise. Every class is getting something extra on a reaction. Every class is getting something added to their basic weapon attack. And I agree with you from a tactical wargaming standpoint. I love the variety. I love the complexity. I agree with the existence of the old modifier charts for armor versus weapon type. But as a DM that's got to get 8 people to sit down and do combat, it's hard enough as basic as it is, brother.
You and I have talked about the weapon mastery thing. I am fully against the weapon mastery thing. Like, I think that is too damn far. I think that is dumb, where I can miss somebody and still do damage to them. Again, like, I'm on board with all of that. Like, I think that's awful. I think that's a horrible addition. And I could be brought around to it if it was like the fighter gets one of these, you know, like something like that, where it's kind of like their fighting styles that they currently get. Like if it was like, okay, I take the cleave fighting style, and that's my fighting style that I have, where I can do damage to, if I over damage this person, I can add the damage to the next person, and that's something the fighters can do. I can get behind that, you know. But it to be like, okay, well, my barbarian, my fighter, my paladin, like everybody has this thing where it's like, oh well, I hit him with this and I knock him down, and then I hit him with this and then I push him 10 feet, and then I hit him with this, and yeah, I'm not okay with that, you know. like the weapon mastery thing, I think
that's part of the game, dude. That's not something they're backing off of.
Yeah, see,
because that's fun. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, if it was pre-baked in, it's pre-baked into new expectations. If you look at Baldur's Gate 3 right fucking now, every time you put a different weapon in your character's hand, No matter what, if they get, as long as they proficient with that weapon, they get one extra cool little button. And if you look at some of the playtest weapon masteries, those buttons do the same thing as the playtest mastery. Call me conspiracy brother if you want. I'm just saying. You have a whole generation of people that are coming into D&D because of Baldur's Gate 3. I spend so much time every weekend at RPG Center with new people going, no, that's a Baldur's Gate thing, man. You can't do it in real D&D. No, that's a Baldur's Gate thing, man. So BG3 is a predecessor to what we're going to see with 5.5. And BG3, the ultimate Larian designers of one of the greatest games of all time, already said, no, the game can't go past 12 because it's fucking broken.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we're lining up for right now, you know. So, and if you like playing BG3 as a video game and you want to run that as a DM, have fun with it, you know.
Side tangent here.
Okay.
I wonder why Divinity Original Sin didn't do the same thing, right? They
didn't have license.
Well, I mean, fair. Because like I'm like it's D&D. It's made by the same company and everything, you know. But like I can't figure. I was like, I don't know why this thing.
The D20 system is licensed. They couldn't show it on the screen. They had to run it behind the screens for you at all times. Whether they're using a D20 system or not, the D20 is licensed. Larian couldn't use the D20 as part of their production.
Really?
Huh?
D20s are licensed?
The D20 system.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? I didn't know. How the fuck did
you can't license a die, okay, but the system. I was like, how the fuck? Yeah. Exactly. No. So that was the first thing, is they didn't have the tie-in to show that this is a die, even though everyone knows it. Well, shit, Morrowind. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind is a die rolly game, dude.
Yeah.
You just don't see the dice rolling in front of you. EverQuest, I'm playing EQ Quarm, fucking like a junkie. Oh my god, I gotta stop. It's so bad. It's all die rolling, you know? Sitting there chasing a fucking giant rat across the field, whiffing with my two-handed stick because I got a skill of 3. It's like, no, in real D&D, shit, but we play die rolls, right? And we've all had that happen. That one fucking dude that won't go down, and everyone missed him 9 times.
I can't tell you.
Hey, for worse, good to see you, Foe. Thanks for joining us. We're just hanging out, chatting some errata and random bullshit. Feel free to jump in the discussion. We're floating around between video games and the new Unearthed Arcana errata and the future of D&D. Thank you for joining us.
I can't tell you how many games like that I have jumped from point A to point B just to level by jumping up. Just like, I'm just gonna hop all the way to this next town.
Yep. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Fucking EverQuest. I'm sitting there pushing sense heading as I walk because otherwise I have no idea of where I'm facing. And I get a little bit of a dopamine hit when it goes up to 19. Oh, yay! I've only got to get to 200 to be perfect. You have no idea direction where you're facing. But you know, that's something that's based on die rolls versus actual action buttons. So you know, being able to see the dice on the screen with Baldur's Gate 3 was huge. Being able to have all of the properties tied in together with Baldur's Gate 3 was even bigger. Yeah. I've played what was it? Divinity Original Sin, I think it was the first one.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. And
I didn't do Divine Divinity because the name sounded so stupid. I wasn't going to play Divine Divinity. Come on, I'm not giving you $60 for that dumb name. I'm not doing it.
And the whole reason.
Okay. Pixel's kicking back in here real quick.
Yeah.
Barbarian again. So if the players go against a boss tough enemy, maybe one of the players cast spells, cast breathing underwater, then the barbarian team up 300,000 feet underwater
to teleport.
Mass teleport.
Yeah.
That teleport. You couldn't use the barbarian's ability as written because it has to be a willing ally.
Yes.
So they couldn't, even if they were all grappling the guy at the same time. Which I get what you're saying. Yeah. Everyone, grab leg. We will teleport to ocean. Yeah. And a bunch of spins try to do that kind of crazy shit. They'd all teleport to the bottom of the ocean, and the dragon be standing like, "What the fuck just happened?" Come back! I will kill you all.
And I was going to say there is a saving throw for it.
Yeah.
So it is possible.
Yeah. Oh,
there's
you can teleport.
There's 2 different abilities. There's one that's a lower end ability of that where I think it lets you teleport 30 feet.
It brings you with but it brings you to within 5 feet of you.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, you'd have to be underwater to pull it underwater with you.
Yes.
And it would still have a saving throw. Correct.
Yes.
Yep. So it'd be all messed up, man. I can't see that shit happening. That's crazy.
Yeah. No.
Good idea. Good idea. But that's how we start figuring out when this shit, how it breaks or if it can break, is when we talk about these weird abilities. No, they lose some venom when you talk about them, but still from a planning standpoint, it's still shit, man. You're for barbarian going to teleport your group 500 feet at least once a day. At least once a day.
See, in my brain, like while I was reading this, I was like, the only way that I could see this being helpful is if it was like, okay, I need to be on the other side of that gate. Let me teleport me and my whole party onto the other side of that gate. Is like stuff like that, or like I need to teleport into this city
because wizards don't have dimension door to be able to do that.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you have a wizard on your party,
there we get to it.
Yeah,
there we get to it. We want our characters to be able to do whatever everyone else's characters can do, no matter what we pick. There it is. The extra button push that lets me not need that. The extra things that completely invalidate the existence of the class system entirely and make it all about it's not even about story anymore. As you see, the barbarian players will start stealing a lot of shit. It teleports to 500 feet in the air, drops an anvil out of a bag of holding.
Well, to do the 500 feet, you have to teleport with other people. You can't just do that by yourself. That is the case. It is you and up to 6 people.
So if you have 2 barbarians, it works. One to barbarian them up and one to barbarian them down. And you're fine.
That's actually a thing. Monks now have slow fall as an ability. Like that's just a thing that they have now. I think it's like level 5, something like that.
They already had safe fall where they could fall 1,000,000 feet before they start taking damage anyway. So they're just changing it to slow fall instead.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
They also upgraded there because you know how monks can like run up a vertical surface. They upgraded that now as well.
Wizard Kung Fu style only.
Yes, yeah, but they can now
5 deadly venoms, bitch. Go get some education.
They can run on water now too.
Yeah,
but
lizard guy could too.
If they end their turn, they drop into the water though. They can't like just stand.
Lizard guy too. I'm kidding. Have you ever? I know as an aside, 5 deadly venoms, must see old freaking Chinese kung fu movie. Man, you're gonna watch that movie. If you're a D&D player, you're gonna be like, I gotta make a 5 deadly venom campaign because that shit was fat, dude. It's so cheesy, but it's one of the best ever, man. Proto kicking in, love it. Some of the cast transformation spell, whale bombing times 6. Barbarians go! 6 fucking whales falling out. I mean, hopefully y'all got some sort of way to mitigate the damage you're going to take from, 20d6 maximum velocity, but I do love the idea.
Technically, you can already do that with a druid. Just drop a fucking whale on people.
Yeah. But that's what we're saying. All this does is you don't even need a druid to technically do it as long as you got a barbarian. A druid and a barbarian and 5 druids. You got a whole freaking the B-52s, man. Rename your group Carpet Bombers and get at it, right?
I mean,
rage half. There you go, Vigilant. Yeah, no, I use my bonus action during this fall to rage and take half damage.
Cool. You're still dropping 500 feet.
20d6 goes from a maximum of 120 damage to a maximum of 60 damage. At the level you're talking, that's fair. Merely a flesh wound.
That's fair. For a barbarian, yeah, that's fair. It is level 14, yeah, that's fair.
Targets the lonely fisherman in the lake, right? That's awesome.
That's so that actually was a weird thing that I saw for druids. So right, because I was telling you about like their wild shapes now, how they changed that. So when they wild shape, instead of them getting the HP of the creature, now they get they keep their HP, plus they get temporary HP equal to their druid level. So like I'm thinking about that and it's like, okay, cool. So I'm a level 10 druid. I have 10 temp HP. That's gonna last me not at all. The very first thing that's gonna hit me is gonna take all of that plus my damage.
Well, maybe this is I don't know. Let's read this. Let's read it out loud. We beat up on the monk for a minute. Let's beat up on the druid. Go ahead before I start reading.
I was going to say, that being said, subclasses do extend that. So I think it's 3 times your level. So that would be beneficial.
So, the power of nature infuses you, allowing you to assume the form of an animal. As a bonus action, you transform into a beast form that you've learned for this feature. See known forms below. You stay in that form for a number of hours equal to half your druid level or until you use wild shape again, have the incapacitated condition, or die. You can also leave the form early as a bonus action.
Yes.
You know a number of forms for this feature equal to 2 plus half your druid level rounded up. When the... Now we're going to start rounding fractions up? Fucking seriously? Fuck 5-5, man. Damn.
5e does have 1 or 2 things that do round up on them. Currently. But yes, there is a few things in there that say rounded up. Most of them do say rounded down still, though. For
chosen from among the beast stat blocks in the player's handbook. Does that mean we round damage up now?
I'm actually. It
probably will. 5.5. You'll just absolutely round up everything, except for damage against you is rounded down.
I'm actually surprised that they didn't, with the D&D movie and everybody wanting to turn into a fucking bugbear, not a bugbear, wow, an owlbear, that they didn't let people, that's going to be a thing. I guarantee there's going to be a subclass that's going to let you turn into monsters.
A monstrosity and say, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got to save something to sell in the next expansion book.
Yeah.
You know?
People keep
rolled a 19, can I round up to a nat 20?
Well, I mean...
no.
That's a fire thing.
If it was a 19.1... I guess by 5.5 it would be a 20, wouldn't it?
What I'm saying, most things still round down in that. There's already things that round up in 5e, but there's only 1 or 2 things that round up in 5e.
So anyway, you know a number of forms equal to rounded up. Sorry about that distraction. A maximum challenge rating of 1/4 and that lack a fly speed. Rather than choosing, you may start with a riding horse, spider, and wolf. When you finish a long rest, you can replace one of your known forms with another eligible form.
So you have 3 at any time instead of how druids are now, where they can just change.
When you gain certain druid levels, the maximum challenge rating for your forms increases, as shown in the beast shapes table. In addition, starting at level 8, you can adopt a form that has a fly speed.
Yes. Which I think is standard.
Let's see. When choosing a new form, you may look in the monster manual or elsewhere for eligible beasts if the DM permits you to do so. So at level 2, you're limited to a 1/4 CR maximum. Level 4, you're limited to a half CR maximum. At level 8, it goes up to a 1 CR maximum. Now, you can use it twice.
I do have this question because currently, I believe it is level 6, you get something that has a swim speed, and then level 8, you can take fly speed, something like that currently for druids. They don't mention anything with a swim speed in this druid, which makes me wonder if you are allowed to take things that have swim speeds at all for druids.
They're not even going to have a swim speed. No one does underwater combat because it's difficult terrain, it's 3-dimensional, there's too much to do. They're going to negate swimming as a necessary skill or speed.
Lizard folk get then.
Shit. Stay with 5 where there's still a little bit of differentiation between everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, rules while transformed. While in a form, you retain your personality, memories, and ability to speak, and the following rules apply. Your game statistics are replaced by the statistics of the beast, but you retain your hit points, hit dice, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores, class features, languages, and feats. You also retain your skill and saving throw proficiencies and use your proficiency bonuses for them, in addition to gaining those of the creature.
Yes.
If the creature has the same proficiency in you, the bonus in the stat block is higher than yours, you can use the bonuses instead of yours.
Yes.
If the creature has any legendary or lair actions, you cannot use them. Okay, so when you assume a wild shape form, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your druid level. You can't cast spells, but transforming doesn't break your concentration on spells you already cast or prevent you from taking actions that are part of a spell such as Call of Lightning, Sunbeam, Moonbeam, etc. that you've already cast. Objects. Your ability to handle objects is determined by the form's limbs rather than your own. In addition, you choose whether your equipment falls to the ground in your space, merges with your new form, or is worn by it. Worn equipment functions as normal, but the DM decides whether it's practical for the new form to wear a piece of equipment. Oh, the fucking arguments.
I'm gonna say no for everything because it's like, sure, you can wear a helmet if you're a gorilla, maybe, but like, what's that gonna do for you? You know, like I don't, yeah, because like the armor doesn't change size. It flat out says that. So like, you can't be like, oh, I'm gonna wear a breastplate as a horse.
Oh, this shit's making me laugh so hard. Oh shit. Equipment that merges with the form has no effect until you leave the form. That's why the argument's there, because now if you are not wearing your ringer protection or your cloak according to that one byline, the equipment doesn't affect you anymore.
Correct. And there's no.
I think my dragon should have a great sword personally, right? With great toothpick. Okay, so that's interesting. Wild Resurgent. If you have no uses of Wild Shape left, you can give yourself one by expending a spell slot. No action required.
Yes.
You can do so only once per turn. In addition, so if you're out of them, you can say, hey, I'm going to use a spell slot real quick for nothing and go ahead and Wild Shape again. Not bad, I guess.
At a higher level, it lets you do that as an opposite thing, where you can take your Wild Shape and burn it for spell slots.
That's the same thing at level 5, Wild Resurgence.
Okay. But yeah. I think at a higher level, it lets you do it where you get 2 levels back, so you can actually burn like 2 Wild Shapes and get a 4th level spell back, like stuff like that.
So level 7 is our Elemental Fury. The might of the elements flows through you. You gain one of the following options of your choice. Potent spellcasting. You can add your Wisdom modifier to the damage you deal with any Druid cantrip. Not bad. That could be significant. On each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll using a weapon or a beast form's attack in Wild Shape, you can cause the target take one extra 1d8 primal strike damage. That's already part of one of the trees anyway, so that's not a big deal. Just getting some of the stuff that was specific to certain druid circles is getting spread out across everybody's circles. In this case, so we'll see what if the circles go away or if there's something replaced later.
Actually, notice at the start of each of these, they only give like I think 3 circles as like subclasses that you can even pick in this version so far.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they're going to do away with like a bunch of subclasses whenever they update.
Potentially, so they can sell them again later.
So they can sell them again later. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
$30 for the book, or just $2.99 a la carte, and an extra $2.99 will enable your D&D and Beyond account to include all of these as part of your virtual tabletop experience.
Yep. That's exactly what they're going to do.
When have I been wrong?
So far, you haven't been.
That is normally I'm not an arrogant bastard, but so far I've been, because it's just repeating itself, guys.
Yeah,
it's just easier to predict now because it's easy to see how monetization works. You know, it's not a big deal. It's okay. So let's look at level 15 improved elemental fury. Level 9 commune with nature. You are an expression of nature itself and can commune with the natural world all around you. You always have the commune with nature spell prepared. Yeah. Okay, that's not. Seems fair for a level 9 druid.
I'm saying druids aren't totally broken. I actually like the way they did them.
Option you choose for elemental fury grows more powerful. When you cast a druid cantrip with a range of 10 feet or greater, the spell's range increases by 300 feet.
That was what I was talking about.
That's pretty trippy if you ever had a map that you could use 300 feet on.
Yeah.
That's why I was kind of laughing. Some of these things really don't mean anything. They're really cool wow factors for the players.
Yeah.
A DM's like, okay, let me get right on a 300-foot long wide map so you can use a spell. Cool. Yeah, go ahead, get that feat. Go right for it, baby.
Yeah, that's
you're in a 30 by 30 room. The ceiling is 15 feet tall. Go.
Yeah.
Pixel says, is there some new classes or subclasses coming with this? Not to our knowledge.
Actually, every one of these has a new subclass in it. So like so like the Path of the World Tree is a new barbarian subclass.
Okay.
I can't remember what circle they gave for the druid, but that's a new one. And the same thing for the monk. Every one of them they showed is a new subclass in this.
The 6 barbarians happy to see the druid now, no joke, right? So level 18. While using Wild Shape, you can cast spells in beast form, except for any spell that has a material component with a cost specified, or that consumes its material component.
Yes.
So yeah, that's not bad at 18. Shit, I ain't got a problem with that.
As I said, Druids
Um,
they upgraded, and I like them a lot. And as much as we're probably going to disagree with monks, I think that the monks are fairly upgraded as well. Um, I don't think that there's a
Yeah,
lot of flex
Soma,
just
one of my
basic.
streamers today, he would probably be. I'm glad he's not in the chat right now because he'd be cussing me out because he was like talking how great the new monk shit was. Like, I had to take a look at it. I hadn't taken a look at it yet. I was honest with him at this. I hadn't looked at any of the Unearthed Arcana since that Stronghold debacle that they
That's
put out
dumb.
there.
We
At
can,
that point, I
yeah,
officially unplugged from 5.5. This is. I read that. I get the surveys. I'll do the surveys. I'll get in the feedback. I ain't even doing that shit. I have completely disengaged from the 5.5 process. Other than chatting with Josh and chatting with you guys, I have no plans for it.
yeah. The stronghold thing is 100% dumb. I don't know how the fuck I missed that, but like you showed that to me, I was reading into it, and I'm like, this is not okay. Like literally, the only way that I can see this being functional is for you to build a campaign around it. Like that's really the only way I can see it being functional, and like that's really it. Because otherwise, like, cool, everybody has their own fucking stronghold, that their uncle left them in a will, or it just magically got left to them for some reason, and now everybody has their own homestead where they can magically get items and upgrades and shit like that. And
Well,
yeah,
I'm not against property ownership.
right. That's what I'm
I
saying.
think that's a fun thing to build towards, but build towards the stronghold rule set.
At level
Basically,
5 is dumb.
yeah, at level 5, you automatically get access to this. And over the course of your campaign, once per week, you can send little orders to it, and it can make stronghold points. And then you can spend those stronghold points to give yourself advantage on persuasion rolls, social skills within X miles of your stronghold based on the size of the stronghold. If you spend Y amount of points at this level, you can actually have the stronghold find magic items for you, up to fucking legendary.
Yeah, see, I'm not.
You can do spell research there. You can have yourself resurrected there. You can use it just to make money. It's bullsh. It's bullsh.
And like I said, and you've said it as well. I don't see any issue with players building to something like that. I'm not going to say,
Dude,
yeah, you guys can have legendary artifacts unless you
no,
hire somebody that knows how to do that, and you're going to have to pay for everything or find it, and that's going to be a whole thing. Because like that's I don't agree with it as far as like just get it for free or just like, oh, my stronghold has enough points so I'm able to do it. That should cost you money, like a crap ton of money, like because like within D&D currently, like there are listings for like this is how much this legendary item cost. So like but all of them are like such a high amount that most people aren't going to, well, that's not true. I was
what
going to
no one
say, to
ever
be fair, oh, see, damn it, all my stuff just cut out.
to edit him. I'm okay with disagreements on my channel. Keep your new pets. Maybe you can use it to have soldiers and whatnot. It's a good thing for the DM plan future. Now, Pixel, I'm about property ownership. One of my favorite fucking campaigns, and Josh played in it, Vigilant played in it. I really wish we could have kept it going, was the Waterdeep Dragon Heist. It was a sandbox campaign that was driven by them owning and modifying and building up Troll Skull Manor. It forced them to be a party. It forced them into roleplay dynamics. It forced a story because they owned that house.
Yeah.
But that house was the ultimate burden. That house was the ultimate quest MacGuffin. And what you're talking about, Josh, is what we're already doing. What my problem with is now we're codifying player expectations that I must have a stronghold, and now the stronghold allows me this because it's going to be in the rules. That's my fucking issue.
Right, and I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. I don't disagree with you about the stronghold stuff at all. I'm just saying, in general, I don't see an issue with you being able to purchase these things later on within a campaign, but it should be at a great cost.
Sharp, Chris, that's a good question. Thanks for dropping. Go let Josh finish. I'll answer you.
Well, no. I was just saying, like I agree with you wholeheartedly about the stronghold thing. I think it's super fucking dumb. I don't think that it should be part of anything ever, but because it should be at a great cost. Like us doing that Troll Skull Manor thing. When we left that campaign, I think the most that any of us had was 200 gold, and I think only one of us had that. Everyone else was broke. And that's because we were pouring everything we had into upgrading the house and buying stuff for it. And that's how I think it should be. If you're going to get a stronghold, it should be at a great cost for you. It shouldn't just be a thing that you magically get at level 5.
Yeah. Now, let me get around to answering your question there, Sharp. First, thanks for joining us here. In reference, we are talking about the Unearthed Arcana that was released, playtest number 7, called Strongholds and Cantrips. Okay, so That's the even idea that they're going to put that out there and players are going, ooh, I want that, scares me as a DM enough because we no longer are allowed for story here. Came back from the Avernus campaign. They had our ooh, looking forward to hearing back about that, man. There was some really good spins on their Avernus campaign we were chatting about in the theme today. Okay, so campaign as written, you have the potential for home ownership in the very first module that is released in the basic book called Lost Mines of Phandelver, where I think 60% of groups end up taking ownership of the Red Brand Manor on the hill. Right?
Okay.
If you let that drive your campaign or not, most DMs just give it away because it sounds fun, it sounds fair, it sounds worthy, with no idea what that means in their campaigns yet. So does it have a bearing? No. Can it have a bearing? Absolutely. Ghost of Saltmarsh requires you're very early. Your party's going to get a fucking ship.
Yep.
That's worse than a house.
Yeah.
A house is stuck in one spot. These fools can get on this ship and go 800 miles to the east, and you want to talk about sandboxing? So yes, property ownership in regards to like Saltmarsh.
If I'm not mistaken, though, I think you start with a small like dinghy and you have to upgrade it through the course of the
No,
game. It starts with
Saltmarsh
like a big ship.
Your second step in that campaign. This is some spoilers. First thing you do is you go figure out that the haunted house, spoilers, isn't haunted and there's some smugglers using it. The second mission is to climb on that boat, kicks everyone's asses, and commandeer the boat. And the expectation, according to the thing there, and we're level 2 now. Level 2, and your party can possibly have ownership of a dual-masted boat in Ghost of Saltmarsh.
That's
yeah.
wild.
So, how many players are really interested in land ownership at all? I think Vigilant could say he is. How about you, Josh?
I enjoyed it.
These are two players that have been in my campaigns that have enjoyed it. Everybody, the 8 that were in fucking Waterdeep, loved the idea of it. The problem is managing it in such a way where it either completely drives the story or doesn't distract from the story.
Yeah.
I don't think there's middle ground there.
I agree.
You know, I don't think you have a lot of middle ground. If it's about property ownership, developing an estate, the land ownership sharp that you're talking about, back in the day, Keep on the Borderlands eventually led you to Mistara, where you were one of these small guys at the Duchy of Carmakos that was given land and a castle and ownership. And the game became different. You weren't running around doing modules anymore. You weren't off on adventures. You were maintaining your land and growing it. So it's a different way to play D&D. 5e supports it, but it's a shit ton of work. World building.
Man, you know what's the wildest thing that somebody's ever told me? I actually have a friend who runs a campaign of level 0 people. They are just normal people. All they do is they build up their lives in a city. That's it.
Yeah.
And that shit's wild to me. Like,
well, and
don't adventure at all.
My son, when he first he had to go on his hiatus from D&D, ran a group for him, Waterdeep Dragon Heist. They wanted to play it and talk about having to seriously G-rate a city when you're playing with a bunch of 12 and 13-year-old kids versus the borderline NC-17 that we were running there.
Yeah. To be fair, they've G-rated it themselves by changing names of a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but but at the same time, they were having fun being dock workers.
Yeah.
The first 2 or 3 sessions, they were just living the life of dudes on the docks until I literally forced them into a quest. And they were like, man, if we go do this, we're going to get fired. So I had their foreman get kidnapped to get...
That's a good idea, actually. That's good.
So Grummick, their foreman, ended up getting grabbed and kind of pushed the campaign forward. They went to, where's Grummick? Where's our boss? Grummick got wrapped up in the same shit you guys been ducking. So they, what you're saying as far as mundane life, people like to do that.
Yeah.
And if you're able to play it, if you're able to present it as as an experienced DM, or a talented DM, I prefer to say experienced because we all get better with time. To say talented is either you got it or you don't. No, I say experienced. We all have the potential to get better with repetition.
That's fair.
Okay, Sharp, kicking in. Let's take the Avernus or Dungeon of the Mad Mage, for example. Avernus gives you the possibility of getting a hell ride, which is akin to the boat situation. The Mad Mage, you get an estate at some point midway through. Okay.
I would also say
Avernus, you're not going
to burn souls to drive the damn thing.
Exactly. Avernus number one, it forces property usage, but it doesn't promote storyline. If anything, the Hellmobile takes away from story. It gives you an instant travel MacGuffin to avoid all the danger of Avernus. So if you have that, that's actually, that's an example that it takes away from Avernus, in my opinion. But no one wants it because no one wants to be there. Your goal isn't to set up shop in Avernus unless you follow one of the conclusions of the campaign that we were talking about. And then now all of a sudden property ownership is a big deal because you have to own fucking Avernus at that point, do you not?
Yeah.
So that's an example of a possibility of getting the Hell Ride. And the Mad Mage, you get this estate at some point midway through. I'm going to say if you've got a group that can play dungeon level 1 to level 14 in DOMM consistently through and you not hand it to them, they deserve the lair.
Yeah.
They deserve it. But most people are going to fall in love with Skullport because of the connection to the Xanathar Guild and likely set up shop in Skullport and take over one block there or a few buildings there. So you don't even need the manor. Your level 7 group can set up shop in Skullport, do the exact same thing, and have more fucking fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, ownership can be a good thing. Property ownership can be a good thing. Just the structured expectations of how it's going to work for your players and what it's going to give your players, bad thing. Once again, we are removing agency and power to tell a story or build a world from the dungeon master, giving it to the player, taking it away from the 15%, giving it to the 85%, and we have the choice of either, okay, fine, doing it, or saying no, and the players get to go push on their, hey, click on your once a week compound update to see what you can add to your official Tell me I'm fucking wrong.
You're not wrong. But again, like I said, I am fully against it.
A computer program could manage very well, very quickly, very smoothly. It's almost like Farmville for D&D, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just saying, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, and like that's one of those things that I am wholeheartedly against that. I think that is horrible. And to be fair, like within their writing, and we've talked about this, it does say that it is up to the discretion of the DM in order to add this. I'm just, as far as like it is written, it's not a must. But again, you're right, where it's going to come down to, well, if you're not going to do this, someone else will, kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah. Own a battleship heading out to the open ocean looking for treasure, or be a pirate and battle a turtle dragon. Turtle dragons suck, dude. If a DM plays it mean, they sink your boat and swim away, and you don't even get to hurt them, and then they eat you while you're under the bottom of the water drowning, man. A well-played turtle dragon is the end of any fucking boat. They ain't gonna try to kill your players. They just gonna big like fucking Jaws on the bottom of your ship, swim away and let everyone fucking drown, man.
Do turtle dragons have a breath weapon?
Yeah, they got I think a steam cloud, a vapor cloud.
Because I was gonna say, why?
Yeah, no, Vigilant actually ran one on us one time, and he did a pretty good job of being merciful about it. My whole thing is, as that fight's going, I'm like, yeah, we're taking chunks out of this dude, but I'm doing whole integrity damage points in my brain going, this ship should be sinking right fucking now. Thank God he wasn't doing that to us, because we would have all been done with. Campaign over, re-roll, because ain't none motherfucker gonna breathe water and swim from the ocean all the way out to where we were.
Yeah, who and I would have been the only ones that survived. Who could have flown one of you guys? But my character doesn't have the strength. I got like a 6 in strength. I could not have flown anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So
but property ownership, whether it's a vehicle, whether it's an actual site, can be a big thing. It was an in BECME. You guys hear BX, Basic Expert. It's actually BECME. By companion level, your players were expected to be landowners of some sort. They were expected to have an estate and be part of the politics at 10th level, because up till that point in Basic Expert, they're saying, kings and lords and barons are 10th level plus. You're a lowly pissant level 1 dude. So TSR had to back their shit up when everyone's sitting like, okay, man, I'm level 10. Where's my castle? And that's why companion level came out. Yeah, and that's why master level came out after that.
Started existing, and yeah.
So it was in response to expectations and player driven. But the system is so dude, if you go look at 2E, there's a 344-page source book called Castles, and I think it's Castles and Crusade. No, Castles and Strongholds and Castles, second edition book that is dedicated for the DM to figure out all the expenses and all the building time and all the labor and all of the resources that go into all of this shit.
It would take forever.
Yeah, so
it would cost so much. Oh my goodness. Yeah. 100%.
That's why the bad guys all have castles and the good guys don't, because the bad guys get to use slave labor. The good guys got to pay their people.
yeah. But yeah, and honestly, I'm fine with people owning land by level 10. Like that's perfectly fine. I don't think they should own a castle by level 10. But at that time,
it's vulnerable D&D edition, exactly. Yep.
One
exactly.
2E, I can understand them having a castle by level 10 because you've put in a fuck ton of work to get to level 10 in those. But current time, no. Current time, no.
Well, okay, Pixel kicking back. Vigilant, could you place a small fortress on the back of a sleeping dragon turtle, and maybe the player could tame it and have it as a floating fortress? Oh my shit. Floating fortress? Until the turtle decided he wanted to go for a swim, and then all your shit got wet, man.
Yeah, because that's what my brain immediately went to. How do I seal this castle? Like, that was exactly what I was thinking of.
You got to go to dock every day to get new clothes because your drawers are always perma wet, man. Hi Tiddling, thanks for dropping in. Property ownership is a good way to take players' money. Tax,
absolutely.
Yes, right there. That's and oh gosh, I won't go economics, but yeah. That's one of the big things for me. Is it's always been a way to remove money from the campaigns and gameplay before. And up till 5th edition, where it was kind of talked about, now we're looking at 5.5. It's not about removing money. It's about putting money from the stronghold system into your players' pockets. So how the fuck are we, excuse my terminology and language, how are we going to take something that from the beginning of D&D till just the release of the last UA was a major sink for money and a major joy of progress for the player, and give it to an entitlement Farmville output that I clicked on my button this week. I want my outpost points. I clicked my button this week. I want my outpost points. Oh, I have 200 outpost points. I think I want to get 2 potions of lesser healing and a potion of gaseous form. God damn. Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah, that's why I fully agree with you on that. So you and I talk about this a lot, where it's like there's this expectation now of players being like, oh, I have so much gold and nothing to do with it. I saw a TikTok the other day where a dude was like talking about this, where they insulted a king, and he was like, "Oh, well, I'm fighting you guys. That's gonna be 1,000 gold." And they're like, "Here." And he's like, I mean, that's 5,000 gold. Okay, whatever. Here. And he's like, wait, you have 5,000 gold? And they're like, yeah, like all of us do. He's like, I meant it's 25,000 gold. And he's like, we drop 25,000 gold in front of him and walk away. Like, it's like, that's how it is, though. Like, for real. And like if you do that, like if you add the stronghold thing in it, and it doesn't cost them every bit of fucking gold that they get, then there's something wrong there.
Shark Chris, my opinion is strictly in relation to the Unearthed Arcana that was released. If you the playtesting material, playtest number 7. I know we're being very humorous. I love ownership because that shows progress. As a matter of fact, you got that party that doesn't care about their world. We were talking about that during my world building streams. A lot of players like, I really don't feel attached to my world. I really don't. I'm not sure about my world. Do you own land there? Do you have a home there? If you give them a home there, if you give them a part of the world, maybe they engage in that world a little bit more. Ownership can drive a lot of really good gameplay, but I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong, but for me on this, like I said, that's the one thing you got to keep in mind, though. Are you letting the ownership of the property drive the campaign, or is it just a side little respite place to go? It's really tough to have a middle ground. It's really tough. Like with a pirate ship, that is the driving force of the campaign at that point. The moment they take over a boat, hey, killer, good to see you. Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah, because now you have to pay for repairs, you have to pay for upgrades, you have to pay for cannonballs. Like, yeah.
Good comment, Vigilant. Owning as much as a wagon. How much effort and stress do you guys do over the dragon wagon, man?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know
It's
how
a great
much
part of the
horse
story.
costs? Like, I know you do, but I'm just talking about like in general. Do you guys have any idea how much a single horse costs? A single horse is like 400 gold.
No, not that
War
much.
horse. I'm
Not in
talking about
5e.
war horses. I think they're about
Oh,
that.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But like still like that is even a standard horse, like just a normal farm horse, is several years of gold, like from a peasant. You know,
Yeah.
like they have to save up for that shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Horses are
Pixel kind of kicked.
expensive.
Yeah, Pixel kind of kicked in. I like to give my players a sniff of the good life and then snap it out of their hands and throw them in the dirt.
No, it's a good way to
I
get
love your
them to hate
style.
somebody. Yeah, 100%. I
Yeah.
agree with you. That's a good way to
Well,
drive a campaign. Like, no, fuck that dude. How dare he throw us down in the dirt?
now that we're
We
done
gotta
with
kill
it,
him.
I'm going to put up the spoiler. A spoiler for our Waterdeep campaign.
Okay.
You guys went and burned out the second level of the Free Goblin League. You were going to come back around sixth level and to a burned to the ground Waterdeep. Your Troll Skull Manor burned to the root with a sign signed by the goblins says, "Now we're even, Free League Goblins."
Yeah, there's no way we wouldn't have gone and burned everything. Like, there's no way it wouldn't have happened.
I mean, so
Hades wouldn't have even been the factor on that one. Everybody would have been like,
oh
no,
hell
that
no,
noise. Dude,
we're going to go tear up the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. So that was my driver to get you guys deeper into DOMM.
None of these, like, because
we would have reduced them to Adam. See,
I'm sure most people here like did not watch our Waterdeep campaigns when we were streaming them, but like they have no clue how much fucking gold we put into that building. Like, so much time, like just to go to fucking like oh, we got to get permits so that we can get glass put into this damn thing, just to get our fucking glass blown out. Twice.
If you want to torture your parties, make them go get permits through the City of Waterdeep's gilding systems. Oh, and if they're pissing you off that day, make them roleplay it.
Yeah.
Shark says, I'd argue that mount and land ownership should be in different categories. Potentially.
Well, yeah,
potentially.
I fully agree. A horse is, to be fair, like there's literally a cavalier class, which I would say that like, that's part of their thing is having a horse. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think they should start with a horse, but yes, I agree.
Yeah, that's awesome. So much. So but yeah, property ownership expanded, maintained in a way to drive your story is great. Maintain in a way to be a nice respite, a backdrop. That at the end of the day, they go back, we're playing in Sigil. If we're playing a Sigil themed campaign, eventually you're going to have a home. It's not going to be the center of the point of the campaign. It's going to be this shitty, seedy little hovel that you guys really got to get the fuck out of here because I'm sick of that cranium rat staring at me, whispering all night. And in that case, it's just a strive for a slightly better house. And all it is a home. All it is somewhere for them to sleep at night while they're in Sigil, because they can't be roaming the fucking streets all the time, right?
Yeah.
So, that's property ownership as a background set. Now I know where to find them when Shemeska the Marauder wants a piece of ass because they screwed her over. Now when they got a house, all of a sudden, we can go home or we can go... We should go stay at a tavern over in the market ward, because, that crazy bitch is still after us. So it's a storytelling device without becoming overpowering. I'm charging them 5 gold a week for rent on this piece of shit. It's nothing but a place for put there, but it's something that I can drive the story with that's still theirs. Even if it doesn't feel important, the day they come in and the front door's kicked in and their shit's gone through, I'm going to have a pissed off party. Even though they've never done anything but said long rest, okay, we're going to go back to our apartment and long rest. The day they come home and their plant got stolen and someone spray painted their cat and kicked in the door is the day they go on the warpath.
Oh, man. Look, you just had me thinking because for people at home,
all right,
in
there you go.
Campaign,
$1 million for gold and 15,000 upkeep, yeah.
In that campaign, I'm playing a lizard folk, and you just have now made me question what the fuck is going to happen if I try to eat a cranium rat.
You are one. We are one. He wakes up and says, I am one. We are the us.
I was going to say, I am us.
Yeah. Soma says, do it. Good to see you. I'm so glad you got here late after Josh wants to chat with you about the monk stuff. I went off on the deep end on some of the stuff. As we went through it, it's
It's not that
On the
bad.
first pass, it's like, holy shit, what the fuck? But on the second pass, it's like, okay, that's reasonable. That's not that bad. But it still falls in the same thing that they're trying to let everything do everything to everybody. I say they're overcompensating for the monk being a little on the weak side for so long and not having access to the weapon masteries that the other guys are going to have, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're just kind of bullshitting around about property ownership now.
Look,
Does it matter? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, even if we never use one, like 1 D&D, whatever the hell they're calling it, even if we never use it, I'm still building Batman, man. Like that monk 100% lends itself to you being Batman. Like the way that it's
Okay.
written out is like I am a martial arts badass, and that's yeah. I want to build a
They
Batman.
focus. They put a lot more into the damage capability of it. The like it's initially we were looking at it. It's like the reaction abilities of deflect missile and deflect blow. I just man, you're making a level 3 character unhittable on the balance scale based on average damage output of a creature at that level.
Yeah.
Based on your average skill, which is going to be a +4 in your dexterity plus your level of 3, I've got to do at least 8 damage to even hurt you. And if I don't do 8 damage, which no level 3 CR average monsters that aren't at least deadly average 8 damage on their output, your monk is effectively immune in one-on-one combat.
Oh.
And in addition to that, you can hit me for an average of 10 every time you do that. That's ugh.
As the levels progress, it's gonna even out though. Like as like we get into higher levels.
Pixel, thank you for joining us. It was great to see you, man. Yeah, get some sleep. Have a good day at work. Hope to chat with you again soon. It's so awesome having you guys in. I know it's late for some of you guys and early in the morning for some of the other guys. I really appreciate you guys dropping in the odd hours. It was wonderful chatting. Someone says, "Where's the problem?" Sharps kicking in. I'm thinking a campaign setting with the concept of the entire party being the owners and workers of the tavern trying to go against a fantasy real estate agency. Dude,
that's what we were.
That would be a fucking. Well, actually, no. You guys
we were trying to build a tavern.
Yeah, you were trying to build the tavern, but they got fucked. Excuse my language. Because they were supposed to get paid out, and instead of getting paid out, they got something that's going to cost them every penny that they make for the rest of their life.
Yep.
But they own a house.
Yep. 100%.
Someone says, "Where's the problem?" Back to the monk. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't even think that 1,500 gold a year fucking thing wasn't sitting in the back of my mind the whole time. Like, we got to figure out how to pay taxes on this motherfucker. And I guarantee you, once we updated it and got it running as a bar, they were going to charge us more for taxes. Like, oh, it's a business now; it costs you more for taxes. Like, I guarantee you.
And by extension, they were going to try to take over Froon's Brews a little bit to the south of them, which I was going to allow to happen because Froon fucked over, he's a country boy. I ain't paying no one to fix my roof. I'll fix my own roof. Oh, that's against the guild shit. Yeah, so dude is losing his business anyway. So the party was going to take it over and find out that he made he already made the best fucking smoked pork in the city and made some of the best beer if he could get hops from Amphale, his family farm in Amphale, which the Brewers Guild wasn't importing. So once they got Homie into their bar, took his place over, turned it into a warehouse, put it back together after I burned it down, finished off the goblin fight, and made peace with Xanathar in the process, I was going to kidnap Froon, endangering their entire livelihoods because I took their cook, I took their brewer, and I took the source of all of their alcohol and make them and push them into Princes of the Apocalypse as a campaign. Simply by kidnapping Froon while he went home to see his family about a new load of hops. So yeah, using property ownership, dude, it's a steering wheel that your party is handcuffed to. And they think they're driving it, but they're really not, man, because you got your big hand up here doing this shit.
At some point in time, I just go, Jesus, take the wheel.
But you can't because you're handcuffed to it. Oh, shit. So anyway, back to monk stuff. My problem, like I said, my problem is a math problem. It's plain and simply a math problem. Statistically speaking, based on, and now again, it could all be modified if we ever, Josh keeps saying a valid point. We don't know what the monster is going to be able to do.
Yeah.
But based on the fact that these are supposed to be similar systems, we can kind of guess.
Yeah.
So a CR3 average rating monster is going to have an average hit of 5. Means their damage. which the monk can automatically, as a reaction, negate and up
On
to their
average,
dexterity plus their level, which is 7. So by math, a monk is going to be immune in one-on-one combat to anything of an appropriate CR. So if I'm running 3, now I have to attack the monk with 2 or 3 things per turn to make them feel threatened. Now I'm wasting resources that I could be killing the wizard with. So the smartest thing to do tactically is to completely ignore the monk now.
I will say 2 things.
And that's going to make your monk really mad because he's all these good fucking cool abilities that he doesn't get to use because as a DM, it's stupid for me to attack the monk.
Yeah. Well, I will say 2 things on this. My first one
Please.
is that magic still hits them normally. It's bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. So magic still hits them normally. They can't deflect that. My other thing that I would say is that I believe that it's one of those things that like as you progress in level will even out. Like it won't be that big of a deal like towards higher levels. I know that you get
your level goes up, your dexterity your level goes up every level.
Right.
So you're going to absorb more damage. Now, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Once we're around CR5, my average damage is 11. So I'll be able to hit you for 2 damage against your average negation of 9.
Yeah.
At level 5.
Yeah.
So at level 9, I might be able to do 15 damage against your negation of 12.
Yeah. Stuff like that is what I'm saying. But because like what I'm thinking about right now is the soul knife class for rogues are like really badass at low levels, but like as it progresses, you're stuck with that one thing, so you're not doing.
But we've already talked about that. That's literal mental masturbation because we're never going to get hit the levels where that evens out.
And that's fair. That's fair.
I can the ground commons out for the monk in regards to this one particular redistribution, the weapon deflection. On my quick and dirty math, it levels out about 8. Yeah. So at the end of the campaign, I'll finally be able to threaten the monk with a little bit of damage. I'll finally be able to make them enjoy, ooh, I'm glad I had the ability. Because up to that point, I'm not attacking a monk. That's a waste of tax. Or I have to adjust the encounter so heavily to account for the monk that everyone else is pissed off. Because now I got to have 3 combatants per person to make sure that I can give an equal threat to the players on the board based on their abilities and not make someone feel like they're getting picked on while still supporting their tactic. This is where my issue with it as a DM. Y'all as players get to look at it and go, that's cool. Me as a DM have to figure out how to actually make this fucking work.
Right.
So there's my challenge.
That being said as well, it is a reaction. So if you have anything with multi-hit, you're automatically going to get through it. Even if they negate the first one, you can still hit them with the second one.
Yeah,
so there's stuff like that as well.
So now I've got to use multi-hit creatures in an encounter on level 3 that are going to fucking kill the wizard.
Yeah, well.
Shouldn't have been a wizard, should have been a monk?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, wizards know they're squishy to begin with. I was actually looking at something not too long ago.
Rip whiz.
I was actually looking at something not too long ago
go ahead,
where they were actually showing that like there is a better way to build wizards to where they actually have enough AC and HP that they can deal with stuff. But like I'd have to go and look into it. But like I know that like a big thing that people have been talking about for a while now is actually sorcerers, that their main stat should not be charisma, it should be constitution. And that would make them actually a non-squishy spellcaster that you could use for stuff. Which makes a lot of sense because like their whole thing is like innate magic. So it's like you have to use your constitution to better do this magic instead of it being something like I learned it.
Yeah.
I have to know how to control it instead. So like I'm having to like hold it in kind of stuff, especially with like wild magic and stuff like that. So a lot of people have been talking about like sorcerers should go to a constitution based like sorcerers instead of them being charisma based, which I think is actually not a bad idea. Plus that would actually be something that is constitution based because nothing else has constitution as their main stat. I think it could be cool.
Maybe. It could be. Where did I put my monk page?
But
I deleted it. It pissed me off so bad. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm straight up kidding. But again, when we read down the list to begin with, everyone's like, holy crap, what the actual shit? But as you get into the depth, balancing it on averages, I know, again, that's just the same exercise for me, not knowing what I get to play with in 5.5. All we can do is judge with what we're based on here. So it's going to be potential problem, but no more or no less than any other class. How is the ability for a monk to negate one hit per round OP when compared to the barbarian being able to teleport the entire party 500 feet away?
Or the ability for fucking wizards to make spells up. You know?
The monks even out towards the end of tier 2 gameplay, but the changes help the monk beyond that because old monks had serious issues third tier and forward. So speaking experience of Mad Mage floors 11 to 8, which monk died multiple times and not from dumb stuff. We won't know until it gets there. We won't know until it gets there. You know.
Now
I don't know. Like I said, it's short of custom building adventures or running one shots. I have not run a sustained high level campaign in 5e yet. Yeah. You know, anything above 14 is just one shot turf for me. Yeah, real life has always killed campaigns around the 2-year point. But yeah, building short one-ups to go with it is game testing and play testing. And yeah, the monk is a little bit weak. But, you know, is that supposed to be the monk's number one thing? Just like the ranger's going to suck. Do you have a ranger playing in level 11 to 18 in DOMM? Did anyone even bother taking a ranger to play that? No, because a ranger's going to suck in a dungeon, period. You know?
Well, I mean, you can take dungeons as their preferred terrain and stuff like that. It could be useful, but rangers are one of those things that is very, 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 very situational. And you have to know before you ever go into a campaign what you need. You have to mitigate.
And so is a monk supposed to be that way too?
I mean, fair.
Rogues are kind of supposed to be that way too.
But I mean, it's easier for me to drop a rogue into any campaign of any type than it is for me to drop a ranger into any campaign of any type. You know.
I guess that's we're the supposed to is the focus.
Yeah.
All of these things are supposed to be unique enough to stand out in their moments, simple enough for anyone to be able to play with, but synergize enough with things around it to feel like everything is needed.
Yeah.
But we're getting to a point where nothing is needed other than 6 barbarians.
All you need right now is 6 clerics, and you can run face into any campaign or two. So I mean, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So and I guess that just leads me all the way back to the beginning. If we're acknowledging that 5e is fucked up on a power curve, how is adding more shit to the player side of it going to make it better?
Yeah, and like I said, when we started this, I don't agree with all the stuff that's coming out for this. I really think that they're trying to do what they did in 4e, just make it abilities instead of math. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think they're trying to make combat more versatile and interesting, and that's why they're adding this extra stuff to people. Yeah. But there are certain things that I flat out disagree with it within this. Like, I think that they are dumb. Like, don't get me wrong. One of the main things that I think is really weird, but every class seems to get it, is their capstone goes, okay, your main ability score, whatever it is. So like it'll be like, okay, so like wisdom's your main ability score for your druid or whatever. So now it's like at level 20, you get 4 added to your wisdom score, and now your max is 26 in wisdom that you can get. And it's like, why? Like, I mean, I guess we could level up and still put APIs if we went to like 24, but like the game's not built out for that. And it's so like, why would you do that? Like, what is that?
Sharp kicked that. Said there were a couple of times while we wished we had a ranger in the Mad Maze, the desert floor and the forest floor, two of 25 floors being good examples. Not to mention the amount of enemy casters in the module, which a ranger could really help with, and so can a monk with stunning blow much easier than a ranger. But I'm with you. 4 or 5 instances, and I hear you. That's the hope, is that you're always, as a DM, from a DM game design point of view, you always want your players to be in that situation. It's like, man, we did it, but I wish we would have had this. And next room go, man, we did it, but I really wish we'd have had that. That's good game design. That's not, that's you know, but Moken, man, what are you? 5 clerics? We got this. There should always be that situation where it's kind of tenuous because your players are thinking outside the box. We're not equipped to deal with this based on our skills, our abilities, our inventories, but we're still going to defeat it.
Yeah, I think
that's why I wish there was more distinction between classes. I'm with you. I think I'm as a disclaimer, I'm one of the guys that says a ranger sucking is the dungeon master's fault, not the class's fault. A ranger sucking is the campaign's fault, not the dungeon master's fault.
to an extent, I agree. I think it's really shitty that like the one thing that Rangers are supposed to be really good at, which is a bow and arrow, they are not even the best class at bow and arrow. There are two fighter subclasses that are better than them at shooting stuff, and basically every rogue is better at shooting stuff than them. And so at that point in time, it's like, okay, I can track stuff.
Yeah.
I do think that is a game design issue. I think they should be the best archers in the game, like
But
bar none.
and I'm saying y'all bitches, as far as y'all players that approved all of this shit on the last playthrough, wanted your rogues to be able to do all of this shit. Us DMs scream bloody murder. Do you realize how much you're invalidating everything else? Do you realize you're letting everyone do everything and there's no distinction in classes? Lost. Just like is happening in 5.5.
I mean, yeah. And that's why I was talking about the cleric thing. It's like literally there is a cleric subclass that matches every class in D&D. There's at least one cleric subclass that lets you do what another class can do.
Yeah. And Soma's Kickanini says the 26 cap change was to account for the ASI change with the 19th level letting you bump to 22. So they had to change their math cap because they broke their first math cap. So rather than realizing they broke the first math cap, let's just raise the math cap.
Okay, that makes more sense to me then. Because yeah, there was like a bunch of stuff where I was like, this doesn't like why is my max 26 but I can only get to 24? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Sharp's kicking in. Battlesmith is ironically a better ranger than the ranger.
Yeah.
So
your arcane,
but that's if the only thing you think of is all a ranger's supposed to be is the best marksman in the world, but they're not supposed to. They're not Hawkeye, guys. How many motherfuckers did Aragon kill with his bow versus his sword?
I don't think any. Does he kill anybody with his bow?
I'm listening.
I don't think.
So why on God's green earth are we now sitting here 40 years later after knowing that the Ranger's class is based on this, expecting the Ranger to be the best fucking archer?
I guess because
they're not. A Ranger is a guy that searches for shit. A Ranger is a guy that travels. It doesn't say range ed. If it was range ed, I'd agree with you.
Yeah. That and I would also say that I think that like every image ever in D&D.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, I would also say that I think that like every image ever in D&D that's shown the Ranger has shown them with a bow as well.
Yeah. I mean, true. And pro tip: in 1E, your Ranger was your best ranged fighter with a bow.
Yeah.
2E, the Ranger was the best with the bow.
Yeah.
You know, if you're playing as a fighter with a bow, that's because you couldn't reach your target, so you had to put your shit down and pull out your bow and use your +2 strength bonus, which didn't apply to ranged combat, to try to shoot your. What's your THAC0? 4. Ranged. 11.
Damn. It's messed up.
Drizzt's a ranger. Minx uses long swords. Many use 2 swords. Yeah. So yeah, y'all are supporting my argument here. The idea that for some reason in 5th edition everyone goes, I want to use a bow, I'll make a ranger. Why? Why is that misconception? It's certainly not something I propagated. No. Y'all heard my argument. I will literally tell you and look you in the eye, how many dudes did Aragon shoot in the throat versus stab in the throat?
Yeah.
And you go, huh? Drizzt, perfect example. Dual fucking scimitars. What did Zach Define say? 2 hands, guys, 2 hands. Do you see how unusual 2 hands is? It wasn't his bow ability. It wasn't his dark elf shit. It was the fact that homie fucking whooped some ass dual wielding those scimitars. Absolutely.
That's fair. I was going to say, what would you classify Legolas as? But I guess an archer would be what he is.
Yeah, he's a battle master with archer fighting with his archery fighting style, feed it into sharpshooter.
Yeah, that's fair. You know, I was watching the thing the other day that was talking about how he must have been very confused watching Aragon like track stuff down.
Jedi. Yeah,
it's like man's like getting down on the ground, like listening to it, and he's like, there's an army off in the distance. He's like, yeah, there's like 400 of them over there. Their helmets are yellow, you know. Like, fuck you, man.
Legolas fucked it up for the rogues. Is that what we're saying?
He's like, but I just like him. I just am trying to imagine him like seeing
depending on your
very confused. Like, what the fuck is this human doing?
Sharp, depending with the time that we have permitting, yes, I think some of the subclasses will build it. The whole problem is relying on ranger skills and abilities. They all exist. The opportunities to use them in the way that they are designed does not exist, and that's my fault as a DM. That's not. I don't think it's a game design thing. I don't think it's a player expectation thing. The things that the Rangers were traditionally built around are supported. The running across the plains at a high speed without leaving a trail and anyone getting tired. Fuck yeah, that's a Ranger thing.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to pick up a rope and tell where it came from and all. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's baked into the Ranger class that is in the Aragorn-esque fantasy.
Yeah.
But do we give the players the opportunity to be Aragorn? That's my argument.
And to be fair, I don't think that
we don't want to run. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think that it's any DM that's doing this in particular. Wizards doesn't support it. You know,
Well, they do.
Even in their own
Absolutely,
modules.
they
well, I mean, in
fucking
their
do.
own modules. So, like, at what point in time is there like anything where it's like, okay, well, your ranger knows this based off of like searching it? Like, there's not.
There's a 34-day trek from Everesca to Waterdeep and Neverwinter that's part of the first chapter of Horde of the Dragon Queen that is designed for a ranger that no one wants to play because it's a 34-day fucking trek. So let's just get to Waterdeep and get on with it.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
What else you got? What do you got?
That's fair. That's fair. Because I was like, I can't.
Storm King's Thunder, even floating across the entire Sword Coast in a floating castle. The entirety is going to go so much easier and so much better when you're dealing with the Uthgar tribes, the World Tree, all of that kind of stuff. Having a ranger is huge for all the nature and survival checks that are involved in that module. No one wants to do that shit. Just get us to the fight. Give me the loot. Give me my level. And the DM acquiesces.
But I mean,
so it's my fault.
But I mean,
it's not Wizards' fault.
Survival stuff like your druid could do just as well, though. You know.
Okay. I got a couple comments as I went on that rant there. I'm sorry there. I cannot speak to the history of the Ranger class, but the archery focus made sense to me due to the spell that improves it and the idea of a hero who ranges across the lands hunting. Yes, hunting across the lands, absolutely. The mysterious pillar of traveling, which everyone tries to avoid because it's barely designed. No, it's very well designed. It's just a lot of work. Go check out your DM's guide. There's plenty of information on there to handle an overland campaign. There's information whether run it by point travel or by hex crawl. All of it's there. There's 11 pages of random encounter tables based on the terrain that your party's going through based on the combat rating.
Yeah.
No one wants to do the work. Sorry. I will have to agree to disagree with you on that one. The information's there. It's not the easiest to read, 100%. Heard my screes on DM's Guild, or the Dungeon Master's Guide. Motherfucker's so badly put together. So to be able to say it's not there is wrong, but to be able to say I can't find it, you're right.
I was going to say, I don't think that a lot of people even really bother with the Dungeon Master Guide, but there's a lot of good stuff in it. There's all kinds of tables that help you do stuff. There's all kinds of alternate rules that help you do stuff. Like, I guarantee you, if you've thought about it, it's probably in that book somewhere, or at least some kind of basic framework in order to help you with it.
Yeah, I had that's kind of the fallback. Did you look at the DM's guide? I know it sucks to read, guys. I'm one of the first people to scream, why the fuck is the most important chapter 5? Running combat encounters is chapter 5 in this book. That bitch should be chapter 1. You're telling us about the multiverse in chapter 1. Dude, I'm a brand new DM. I don't need to know about Avernus versus Acheron. How do I judge when people move through each other? Oh, go back to page 344. So the DM's guide is a great container of resources. It's just hard to use. So yes, Sharp, once again, I really think that we are in a situation. The information's there. The opportunity's there. The tools are there. Are we doing it?
I would actually say, and this is just me, this would probably be very beneficial to a lot of people. Buy one of the DM screens that they sell. That it has a lot of information for it. If you were doing home games, it tells you like here's how much like large, medium, small, tiny shit is. This is how you move through different things. Like, it has a lot of stuff just in the DM screen that like is very helpful to you. Like, the first one's bad. The first one's bad. That came with the starter thing, the starter kit. Don't get that one. Mm-hmm. Get the re-release one that came with Fandelver.
Now, to answer your question, Sharp, Chris, travel mechanics. My Greyhawk Tuesday night group deals with travel mechanics constantly. They got to check food. They got to pay attention to where they're going. They got to do their maintenance. My Wednesday Greyhawk group, once they leave the 20-mile radius of their starter town, will be dealing with traveling. But yes, they are traveling. They're listening to descriptions of the terrain, having to pay attention to skill rolls to find their way through, things like that. I employ travel in all of my campaigns, actually, except for Waterdeep, because, well, even Waterdeep, you guys had to pay attention to travel mechanics depending on the streets and the time of day. So my answer is, every time I play, I pay attention to travel mechanics, because that's part of the game to me.
I was gonna say, yeah, Waterdeep. I literally had my character buy a pair of water waders because of us traveling so damn much because he doesn't like gross stuff. It's like, nope, that's Slop Street. Let me go get my waders real quick. Like,
But now, Sharp, your statements are valid, dude. Managing travel the way it's intended to maximize the abilities of all of the players is fucking cumbersome. It's hard to put it all together. There is no one-stop shop. You've got to look through 3 or 4 different sections of the Dungeon Master's Guide, refer back to the player's handbook, and then understand the abilities of the class compared to the world and the adventure that you're running. You're only covering 40 miles. And it's between Anthale and fucking Waterdeep. And there's 75 trade caravans a day going along there. Yeah, that's a time to handwave travel. You know?
yeah, I mean,
but you know, when you're
day travel.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm sorry.
Especially since that's a little over a day's travel. Like, that's all it is.
Yeah, but you know, so once again, that's the opportunities there. The tools are there. Asking me how often I do it. How often do you do it? Why don't you do it? You've said that the rules aren't there. I've said that the rules are there. You said that the information isn't available and it doesn't make sense to you. I've showed you that the information is readily available. It is cumbersome. It is a pain in the ass to work with. But I also got 3 players in my campaigns that are actually in this chat right now that have all said that, yes, travel is pretty fun.
Yeah. And 100%, like we literally are about to go on to like a long journey, and we all had to stock up on food and water and make sure that we had ways to travel with it so that we could survive our travel. Like, that's just basic. Like, not even like, oh, we might get into combat. That is, we need to make sure that we can eat and drink on the way there. You know.
Yeah, you like I say. So someone's kicking in. I agree that the barrel of water and rations. I agree the classes need some level of specialization, but specialization does not have to become so narrow it's useless. Okay, that's fair.
I agree.
If wizards got a ribbon feat that let them do spoon bending, okay. But that rare situation is useful. It's not worth the feat. That is how I view the vanilla 5e Ranger. The features are too specialized. The optional feats in Tasha that replace them still give them the fantasy of exploring Hunter while giving useful feats that will not only apply in a narrow sliver of situations. Okay, I might have read that back a little bit confusing. It sounded like it went both ways.
just play an Elf Ranger. It'll help you out a lot.
Yeah. Well,
you can get like
I get like
shit like that, and it'll help you be like a way better archer. Not to mention like if you know where you're going into. So like if it's like a this place takes place a lot around a lot of forest. Okay, well, my favorite terrain is forest. That's all you would need to know about them. They can survive in a forest. Like, congratulations, you can hunt through it, you can track through it, you know.
Oh, damn. Oh, you got hit by a character limit, sorry.
One thing, and this is actually something that I do like that they are changing within 5.5, is the favored monster. That is the one thing that I think that they do need to change. Because like it is very that one is very specific, where it's like, oh, my favorite monster is goblins. I can do more damage to goblins, but after level 5, like, I'm never going to encounter a goblin again, and I'm not going to be able to one-shot any damn way, you know?
So take dragons.
Yeah,
but then your complaint is, I'll only see 6 dragons in my entire life. Yeah. Make a choice, dude. You can't have it all, man. You want to be the best goblin slayer in the world, you're going to run out of goblins to kill.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
you want to be the best dragon slayer. That one time that dragon shows up, all of a sudden you fucking banging, dude.
Yeah, I think
that's part of the character design. Sorry,
I don't disagree with it entirely. I just think that there should be opportunities to change that throughout the course of you leveling up. Right?
I think you should add to them. I think as you get experience,
I can get down with that. But
this is me showing story building and world building, and there's no way it would be mechanically supportable because that would require too much work on DM's behalf. But I would say if you are such a skilled combatant that you have a favored enemy due to study or hatred thereof, over the course of fighting 100 orcs in this campaign, you get to add orcs to your list. Over the killing your 50th giant, you get to add giants to your list based on what you're fighting, not what are we about to go fight? Okay,
Yes.
shit, let me switch to Mirfolk real quick. Hold on. Cool. I'm ready to go.
No, I agree.
That's bullshit.
I agree. I agree with you on that. Yes, I fully agree with you on that. But that's what I'm saying. Is
Oh,
I think
all
they
right.
should have
Hey,
the ability to evolve.
Soma, have a good night. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for dropping in. Hope you have a good game tonight. And we'll see you soon. It was a good time. Thank you guys for being here. We're actually getting near the tail end of the stream here anyway in the next 5 minutes or so. So it's a good time to bail out. Sorry.
The mind's eye said, "Yep, the survivalist part of living."
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to be the best, the very best. Yeah. Yeah. Well, kick it in, guys. Be the very best. No one is. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do that to y'all.
I actually totally agree with what you're saying. But that's what I'm saying is I think that it should be able to progress because at some point in time it's just that is a useless thing that they have on one end or the other. Where it's like either I pick a monster that I'm going to fight at higher levels and then I don't do anything until that point, or I pick a monster that I'm fighting at low or mid levels or anything like that. But it's just like either it works for a very specific point in time and then it's useless for the rest of the campaign. Or you should be able to upgrade it in some way, and I agree. I think that I actually like your idea of like kill 100 of an enemy. Now you have expertise in fighting it. I think that's a cool idea. But I do believe that in the play test thing that it's once a level they can change it, but I think it has to be a monster that they have encountered in order for them to change it.
So, but again, like I said, it's a situation where no class is supposed to be perfect.
Yeah.
But almost all of them kind of are. Right now, and they're only getting even more perfect in 5e or 5.5.
And don't get me wrong, I'm still one of those people that thinks that there should be negatives to do certain stuff in the game still. Like, I don't think that everybody should have positives.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, but training towards a certain species takes you from 10 to 14. Yeah, that would be a good spin on it there. Sharp, exactly. Why would you not take devils if you're playing in Descent into Avernus? Now, here, let me ask you this. Are you going to tisk your tongue at the player that chooses something different in roleplay versus metagaming and knowing we're going to fight 80% of our guys are devils, so I want to make sure that I can fight devils from the beginning of the campaign to the end of the campaign? Would that not kind of be metagaming the way the campaign starts out, that you're basically press ganged into service in Baldur's Gate with no fucking idea what's going on for the first 3 weeks of the campaign?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden now we got a metagame player building their entire thing to go kill devils because they know what they're doing. That in itself, I mean, if that's how your characters are building, with the Reddit builds of the week or whatever, that's its own little thing on its own. That's an entire different discussion. Do we expect our players to build meta building in line with the campaign that they're about to play in, or do we want them to play flawed, everyday, ordinary Joes that they are at level 1 that find themselves in the midst of grand circumstances?
That being said,
interesting.
To an extent, I can agree with metagaming for the Ranger, right? So, like, before going into it, if you know that you're playing Descent into Avernus, you can go, my favorite terrain is cities. And I think that's perfectly fine. But, like, I don't think but I do disagree on I'm just going to take devils because I know I'm going to fight devils in this. Because like if they just blind pick stuff,
slippery slope, dude, slippery slope.
I mean, fair enough. But I'm just saying, like if a ranger just blind picks stuff, not knowing what they're going to play, then there's a good chance that the stuff that their class is built around is going to be useless.
Now let me step back a little bit. This is an absolutely redundant and useless argument. It only mattered back in the day when no one had access to the entire interweb and all the information. To expect your players not to know what they're signing for, that's not the reality anymore. The players know what they're about to play. They know what they're about to get into. And, I wish they'd prepare knowing their spells as much as they prepare their meta builds, but it is what it is, That's part of modern D&D. That's where we land. They know we're going to play Ghost of Saltmarsh. Someone's going to be a sailor. Oh, I'm going to make sure I got the sailor background. That way I can drive the boat, guys. Fucking hell yeah. That's just going to be a given, dude. Is that good or is that bad? Now, if it's part of your background, we grew up in Saltmarsh. We have a nautical background. We just a bunch of good old boy Cajun redneck brothers that picked up swords and learned how to fight. then it's perfectly fine. That lines up with the backgrounds of your characters. But to have the mountain dwarf who's got a sailor background because he's an artificer and I can build a super badass sail to make our boat go faster if I can drive it, that's fucking bullshit.
I'm just trying to imagine a mountain dwarf sailing through the mountains. Yar! Just a boat.
Players will do that. Y'all will do that shit, man. And I'm expected to support that fucking shit. Come on.
Mountain dwarfs,
and that leads back to what I said earlier in my world building. Y'all, it's high time as DMs you learn how to say no. And sometimes you can say fuck no. And sometimes you can even say, my table ain't for you. Appreciate your time. I'm not going to be able to satisfy what you want in your game with the way I DM, so you might need to find somewhere else to play. Yeah. It's coming full circle, guys. And if you don't put your feet down as a dungeon master, it's on y'all, man. We have a lot of responsibility to create content, engaging content. We are service providers. We're fucking entertainers for our people for a few hours a day. Learn how to say no so you can maintain a little bit of control over what you're trying to build.
Yeah. I would say that
it makes sense.
Discounting humans, like very human that gets a feat at level 1, I would say that mountain dwarves actually are probably the best race that you can pick, just like statistically, just because based off of all of their like, oh, I'm resistant to poison stuff.
Free Toshas.
Well, yeah. Plus, they're one of 2 races that get up +4 bonuses to their character. Half elves also get it. If you want to count humans as getting a +1 to everything, then they also would get it. But everything else gets +3 at a minimum. So like statistically, they are one of, if not the best race to pick.
Okay, Sharp, got an interesting comment here. I'll never tell them no, but it seems kind of disappointing when you have a unique skill which feels completely useless later on. Bigger as an example, let's call on Phantom Rogue, which is fairly recent. They count on enemies having souls. Good to see you. Hello, Holiepet, thanks for joining us. But anyway, the Phantom Rogue counts on enemies having souls for the entirety of their subclass.
Yeah.
Which apparently Devil's Demons correctly would not have souls.
Correct.
So you fixed it by being able to allow them to absorb soul coins in an easier way, but some of the new subclasses straight up clashing with adventure design. That's fucking okay. Not every adventure is built for every class or every character. I mean, look at Kryn, Dragonlance. And this is a world and a campaign that's going to not be for everybody. Because it starts out with multiple paragraphs of telling you what does not exist in this world, what does not work in this world, and what cannot take part in this world if you want to preserve the theme of this world. It's an officially published book that tells you no right out the gate.
Yeah.
If you want to let it come in, that's fine. And then you're going to be like, Kryn sucks because artificers are OP. They're not supposed to be there. They're not supposed to fucking be there.
There's like at least 4 books that they put out that flat out are, you can't use this in other settings. Like Strixhaven is one of them because there's a bunch of feats that are specifically for it that you can't use. The Dragonlance one is one of those because there's subclasses in there that you just can't use in other campaigns. Eberron is one of those because technically Warforged shouldn't exist outside of Eberron. So like there's a few of them that are like that.
I have an echo going on. Apologies.
But no,
you're the first I've heard from that on. Sorry. We're almost done, but I do want to close that out. That's a valid thing, Sharp. But at the same time, I want to kick this in, and we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. Is it more satisfying for the characters to have a button or a skill or a potion or an item or something to push to solve everything that comes up in front of them? Or is it more rewarding for the party to get into a situation where they don't have the ideal build, they don't have the magic item, they don't have the spell, and they still have to fix it?
Yeah.
So there's styles of play. There's styles of play. There is the style of play, the player and the expectation of the DM that here's your magic bag of buttons, make sure to pick the right button for the right thing. Let's go. Let's push buttons. And then there's me. I know you're not NASA engineers, but we're going to play NASA engineering. Here's a broken spring, half of a tarp, and a twig. I need you to build a bridge. Go. You know?
How big is the spring?
I said it's half of spring.
But yeah, how much?
That much of
How
it
tall?
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Its tension is broken once the integrity of the spring's cut. It doesn't matter. It's not going to work.
Well, it's okay because I was going to straighten it out. It's okay.
So I mean, but obviously there's middle ground in between.
um,
But yeah, so I'm very much anti button pusher. I want my players using the biggest button they have up here. But I know there's players and there's campaigns, there's styles about finding the best button to push. Meta building out. I want to be One Punch Man. I want to have a passive perception of 26 so I can see all and know all without having to even. Now, at that point, no. DM, I'm so fucking lazy, I need you to tell me everything that's going on because I don't want to push a button. I want it auto-rolled for me. I need you to make everything glow as I walk into a room with my passive perception of 26.
the
Fuck off.
the only
I
one that
will. I'll give you a picture of my life when I walk into fucking Walmart with sensory overload as a spectrum person. I'll describe every sound, every smell, the fetid breath that's coming from the person standing next to you as they step on your toe, the swirling of the. I'm going to give you 26 minutes of information with your passive perception of 26, and you're not even going to know what's fucking right.
um
I'm down with that.
I'm gonna both agree and disagree with you on this one.
Okay.
Specifically for one subclass, which is the eloquence bard. That is the only one that I would disagree with you on, because their whole build is around them being able to talk. So
Fuck
that,
off.
yeah,
Learn how to talk.
it doesn't matter
Learn how to
within
talk.
games. I was gonna say it
If
doesn't
you're
matter
playing a
within
bar,
games. It doesn't
go
matter.
ahead.
I
Sorry.
was gonna say it doesn't matter within games that you run, because deception, persuasion stuff is us talking regardless. But I mean, in a general sense, their whole thing is that they are good at perception, or sorry, not perception, persuasion and deception. That is
Yeah.
their that whole class's build. Like
So
so that's the only the only time that I will full on disagree with that, is because that's how that class is supposed to work.
now my counter to that is: are you meta playing it because you don't want to role play? You want to be able to persuade everyone with the push of a button and doing whatever you want to do, or you want to do that because you're a role player and that stuff's minimized anyway because you're gonna be running your mouth because you're an eloquence bard because you're an eloquent person and it negates itself anyway.
I mean, Hades was an eloquence bard, so I mean, you never saw me roll any of those things ever.
That's my point. That's my point.
But
Most of your,
yeah,
but so there's you're right. There is a little bit of discernment, a little bit of discretion that goes into that statement.
and that
You know,
being said, you can't really, like, if I go to a king and roll persuasion against him, doesn't matter if I roll a fucking 700 on my persuasion, he's not going to give me his castle if I ask him for it. Like that. So that being said, like those two things don't automatically get you shit, because it has to be reasonable. They have to be favorable towards you. That is all written out within DM's guide. Everything, like, it can't just be like, hey, I'm gonna go up to this guy and persuade him to give me his horse. He's gonna be like, no, I don't know you. Like, I don't care how good you talk to him.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's absolutely fair. So I mean, it's one and the other. So building your, I mean,
yeah.
it's tough to balance, man, because Sharp, you brought up a great point. You have that one unique skill. You built your character to do this thing, and the opportunity never presented itself. And you're a GIMP character because you want to be really good at this one thing.
Well,
Well, I got a job as a DM to make sure that you have that opportunity to an extent.
I would,
But I also have a responsibility to the story and the campaign to tell you you might not fit with that build.
and that's what I was going to say. I think that comes down to the DM going, look, I understand that you want to do this, but it's not going to work in this campaign, and that is perfectly
You're not,
reasonable for
you,
your DM to do that.
and I've had that discussion with a lot of players, about the character builds. I see where you're going, but understanding how this setting is set up, understanding the political situation, understanding the way the magic works, A, B, C, D, E, F, it doesn't matter. I've had a discussion, and as long as you're willing to work with your player on it, I have yet to have him say no. Well, that's not true. I had one guy say, "Fuck you, I'm playing this or I'm not playing," and I said, "Bye." Um, I don't. I am not lacking for players, brother.
That's I can't imagine like doing that, like because I mean, there have been times where you and I have talked about stuff where you've been like, no, that's not going to work. That's not how that works. You can't do that kind of stuff. And it's always been like us discussing, like, okay, well, how can I achieve this, or how can I achieve that? And it's never been an issue. I can't imagine just going, no, I'm playing this. you know?
And dude,
That's wild to
I
me.
mean, I it's such a weird world out there. Playing pickup games online, playing paid games up at the paid campaigns up at RPG Dungeons, playing the groups that we have here and there, and I mean it. Such a wide variety of players, and believe it or not, such a wide variety of expectations.
Yeah.
Player. What's the word I'm thinking of? Where you guys feel like you're owed it.
Oof. If you wouldn't have asked me, I probably could have told you the word, but I don't know. I have no clue.
Because they sat down at my table, they feel like they are owed the center of attention. Entitlement! Yeah. There it is! Yeah. Player entitlement. Thank you, Mind's Eye. I couldn't even finish my thought because it was fucking right there. It's like, I know it starts with an E. Why can't I get it out? It was like, But yeah, player entitlement. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
How are you handling it? Do you even have to handle that or not? Man, that's up to you guys at your table space. I'm not trying to go down that road. I'm just saying that player entitlement is part of why we have this fucking bullshit coming out with this new addendum, with this new edition. Players feel entitled to want more buttons to push and want more abilities, and there's way more players buying shit than there are DMs.
What? We might have to agree to disagree with that one, because I think that most people that are playing underneath you are using your stuff. I think I'm like one of the only players in our group that buys everything. Yeah. That's just because I literally am sitting on the side going, I want to build this, and then I never use them.
And that was what I started the whole thing with, that I'm the gatekeeper that Wizards is pushing against right now.
Yeah.
As long as I have a library that I'm willing to share, and now that I'm not going to the next D&D edition, they, whether they know it or not, they know that everyone that's playing with me that wants to play the next D&D edition is their customer. They're not I'm not keeping them from buying anything anymore. And I mean, I'm not a gatekeeper by saying, no, you can't buy it. I'm a gatekeeper by generously sharing it with everyone on my fucking server so they don't have to spend a penny to play the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got, 50 gigabytes of freaking PDFs and in excess of $800 worth of PDFs that I will freely share with people.
Yeah.
Wizards hates me. They hate me because people don't spend money on D&D when they're involved in my community.
I think Andrew and I might be the only ones that do, maybe.
Buy books on occasion, yeah. And like I said, I do appreciate you guys buying.
Well,
yeah,
almost
and
everyone.
I didn't buy the deck of many things. I knew that you guys were, no, I'm glad to share. I'm glad you bought it because I was like, I don't want to buy that fucking turd.
I was literally looking at like, I was like, oh man, I want to build a Leonin, one of the lion people.
Leonin, yeah.
And that's like one of the one books that I don't have, so I've been literally going like, fuck, when do I get paid? I'm gonna buy that book.
I have it. You have it on shared.
But like me just
you want it on yours.
Yeah, me just building it. I have to build it on one of your campaigns for me to have it. Like I have access to the book, I can read the book and stuff like that, but I just can't build the thing.
So build it on the campaign, copy off, and fucking put it in your own collection.
That's fair. But yeah, that's so I've literally been like, I'm just gonna buy that book so I can do it because
Theros isn't a bad book, dude. The reason I never offer it to people to play is because it's so centric on Greek mythology that's the entirety of the world. Everything is Grecian based. Everything is Persian and Mediterranean based theme, and most people are like, after a little while, it's like.
I told you I've been on a Greek mythology kick, so like I legitimately I was like, we built a lot.
And you until the next kick, and then we'd have to go play a Kara Tour campaign because you wanted to run a ninja. And then I'm kidding.
That's my ADHD, like my hardcore ADHD is me get focused on one thing for like really hardcore focused on one thing for like about a week, and then I completely lose interest in it.
Yeah, touche. Yeah, so I mean. The new content that's coming out, some of it is interesting, some of it's fun, some of it has the potential a lot of it has the potential to really fuck up a campaign. But I mean, if we're being real about it, most of it's never going to see the light of day.
Yeah.
Unless you're very purposeful about running a campaign, and if you run a campaign to level 20, you ran one campaign with one group of people. That's not playtesting, guys. Nice. Being able to say I ran a total of 8 characters to level 20 over the course of 3 years of D&D, that makes you in the highest percentile of a minority, and certainly not indicative of the vast majority of D&D players or even fucking Wizards.
Yeah, they
I
100%.
don't know that Wizards is sitting around running campaigns from level 10 to level 20 like
I,
we do.
I think they
They're
flat out.
sitting down with. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think they flat out said that they did not playtest 5e. I'm fairly certain they've come out and
Wouldn't
said
surprise me.
that.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Like I
You
think
know.
that it was like a, oh, we ran a few games in house, but I don't think they ever did like what they've done with previous editions where it's like playtest this stuff. People like bringing in people to like test it out and play it. I don't think they
Yeah.
did any of that.
Well, I mean, what they're calling a playtest now isn't really a playtest. They're expecting us to really sit down and actually make characters with this horse shit
In an
and play it.
environment,
But you're
yeah,
giving us half. You're giving us the player half. You ain't giving us anything for the DM side. So that's the comparison I have. Using 5th edition existing material to provide a playtest environment for 5.5e shit to find out how absolute garbage it is.
yeah. And that's the one really big worry because I think that like I'm gonna be more on your side if they don't release anything to balance this stuff. Like if they're not if they're like, nope, sorry, the 5e monsters are what you got, I'm gonna be like, no, then fuck the rest of this because like then it's we're just gonna waste everything and there's no reason to have combat at all ever. Cool. And I mean,
Yeah.
there's other systems that you can play where you never have to have combat, where you just role play. There's
Yeah,
systems exist
that's
out
fair.
there.
But no, they want combat. They want fast-paced, furious, heroic-feeling combat. They want every single fight to feel like you're Legolas and Gimli and Aragorn slicing through a horde of orcs.
Yeah, but there's
That's
like
why
level
they're giving
12.
you all of these extra fucking things.
Yeah,
Because we can't do that right now.
but
Because we
they're
grind
like
out
level
into a
12.
9-round
Legolas is
combat
fucking
against
how
4
old?
zombies with bad luck.
Yeah, I mean, like legitimately, like fucking all of your big name people in Lord of the Rings, your Gimli, your Legolas, your Aragorn, they are all old as fuck. Like they have been leveling up for a good minute.
Yeah. But no one wants to think about that, man. Why can't I? Why you mean I? Why doesn't my glaive go through the guy that's standing next to him? I speared him with a critical hit. Why didn't I stab the guy behind the other guy like they did in the movies? Can we make a roll to do that? Can we do something with that on a critical bonus? Can I do something extra cool? And because we're wanting to have fun, we say yeah, and then we open a Pandora's box of player fucking exploit.
Yeah,
It's slippery. Well, if you let this happen, then that's why I'm always so adamant about no. I am not opening that box. We're not going down that slippery slope. If another class ability allows it, then you can't do it. If another spell does it, then you can't imitate it with that spell. Otherwise, what's the point of having all the spells in all the classes? If I'm letting you
oh,
adjust the wording of this ability to do what this ability does, no. Be sad that you don't have that ability and figure another way out.
no, I will actually give them props for that within the new stuff. Is that there are several times throughout reading this where it goes, for example, and it actually like gives you an example of how the ability works, just in case the wording is confusing. So like, I do appreciate that, and I think that they should do that more, like within their rules. Going, okay, this might be a little confusing word wise, so let me give you an example of how it actually works within the game. Because like I was talking about the wild shape thing, for instance, right? Where it was like, oh, if you trade a wild shape for spell slot, you can get up to 2 levels of spell, but you only get 1 spell slot, but you can go up to a second level spell with it. And then it was like, oh, for example, if you give up 2 wild shapes, you can do up to a level 4 spell, so you can combine them, like stuff like that. So like it gives you examples where it's like because of how this is worded, it doesn't like I had that question before I finished the sentence. Was, can I do 2 of them and get a level 4? And it says, for example, kind of stuff. Yeah. So I do appreciate that they're doing that within this, if nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
It's
And
a
this
lot
may be
better than
where
them
we
making
agree to
clear.
disagree, and this may be the thing that finally forces you into becoming the DM that you could be. You want to play 5-5, you know I ain't touching the shit with the fucking dirty ass 10-foot stanky ass shit stick. So opportunities are gonna open up for a lot of DMs out there. There's gonna be a lot of players that want to try this shit out, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, I know a lot of my peers are digging their heels. I'm not going to 5. Some of them are. I'm going back to Pathfinder. Some of them I'm going back to 1. Fuck D&D. Period. I'll make my own system before I use this shit. So there's a major schism on my side of the table on this thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a member of a lot of different groups. Listen, you know, try to chat with peers as much as I can. So, you know, I have yet to find a single DM that says I'm looking forward to 5-5.
Yeah.
Not one. Not one.
That being said, though, I mean,
I work with 24 of them up at the RPG dungeon. So we're sitting at out of 25. We don't even have. Okay, I gotta be honest. I've only talked to 18 of them. So 18 out of 18 is like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna touch it, man.
Yeah.
You know.
But that being said, though, how many times has this happened through the course of D&D? Every time they bring out an edition, everybody going, no, you know,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And it doubles down for us. Am I going to turn away an $80 night by saying, nah, fuck you, I'm not running that garbage?
I mean,
No, I'm going to say, oh, yeah, here's the greatest things, wonderful. The one things about 5.5 you may not be aware of in relation. I'm going to put the smile on. I'm going to make the money, and I'm going to go home and hate myself in the mirror. You know?
Well, I mean, and look, I'm just gonna say this, as like devil's advocate here. At the end of the day, we're still playing a game. We're still having fun together. You know, even if there's stuff about it that we don't like or we don't agree with, like, there's still ways to have fun with it. You know, like it might not be for everyone, but
every edition change breaks up play groups.
I mean, yeah.
Every edition change breaks up play groups without fail.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have still people playing Winnie this much later.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not going to be all sunshine and lollipops.
I mean, yeah.
You know, in the next year or so, there's going to be a lot of groups that break up.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, for you, like, if you're getting paid to like run a game, like, at the end of the day, you're still getting to play D&D. You're still gonna have fun just playing it. You know, even if it's a challenge and it's a little obnoxious, it's still, we all get to play together. We all get to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, and that's true. That's true. But for me, the stuff that I do because I enjoy it, I'm not using any of this shit. You pay me to do it. You pay me to run fucking My Little Pony RPG. I'm gonna run My Little Pony RPG, and I'm gonna make you like it. I'm a fucking professional. But I'm not running My Little Pony RPG ever, unless I saw fucking green shit slide across the table. You know, so I do worry that my positioning is a little bit jaded because I'm exposed to. Well, I guess starting next Thursday, I'll have another campaign. I'm now running 7 campaigns, 4 of them paid. So I have a different perspective, and it may not be the most healthy or the most casual perspective. So I do want to put that disclaimer out there. I look at things a lot different because I have to provide a product as much as I have to, and an experience as much as I'm playing a game.
Yeah.
You know.
But
always a bunch of issues upon the first year of release, right? There you go, Vigilant. You know, and that, yeah.
I mean, absolutely. You know? like legitimately, like even within 5e, like they put out, like they like I was talking about the DM screen earlier. They legitimately put that thing out. Went, oh, this is actually really bad and completely unhelpful to anybody, and had to put out a new DM screen for them, like within like a year or two of 5e coming out.
Yeah,
and like you said the other day, like we didn't even have the Dungeon Master's Guide until like a year after it came out.
Yep, 1979 was the first publication of Dungeons and Dragons DMG. After the game was published in 77.
Yeah.
AD&D 81 publication. 83 was your Dungeon Master's Guide, the first hardbound with the big Ifriti with the sword-looking bastard on it. My Curse of Strahd screen is amazing. Love the shit so much. Quick info. Yeah, so the resources are all out there. You know. You know, that was in reference to the discussion we were having earlier, as far as, you know, challenging to, you know, we don't run the game this way or that way because there's nothing. No, it's just hard to find the shit.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do on their next edition. Don't change the rules. Just bring in a couple fucking English scholars that know punctuation and rewrite them. You're gonna have a different system because it's gonna work because punctuation fucking matters.
You know, commas where colons should go and vice versa, or semicolons.
Yeah, edition 5.5 should be the scholarly correct version, and the game's going to run better and smoother. And you've got a new edition, and you didn't have to do shit but rewrite it in the right way. Sorry,
I don't mind saying he's got to go.
Mind's eye. Yeah, we're fully into overtime here as well. We're about a half hour overshot. Having fun though. Mind's eye. Thank you. It's always great seeing you. Hopefully you join us up tomorrow. We're still doing kind of some world building chat. We left off. We're at an interesting juncture in there. But it's always great to see you. And enjoy your dinner. I think we're going to finish up here pretty soon too, right?
Yes, I will be streaming our tomorrow campaign. I don't have to work on Saturday, so I will be back for that. And hopefully next week we'll be back on normal schedule for all of our D&D streams. I'm really debating on just saying screw it and starting to post all of them onto YouTube, even though we're midway into all of them. Just pick up from here, go. you know,
Well, Greyhawk would be really good because we're in a new chapter.
Yeah.
This is like a fresh start time of a thing. Yeah, it's the Shieldlands, our trip to the Shieldlands. That's the perfect point. We're, day one landing with the group there. Sigil, I don't know. That's up to you. We're about 3/4 of the way through the Something Wild module. Barovia.
Maybe I'll let us finish that.
Barovia might be the perfect point. You guys are about to roll up on Baba Yaga and Igwilv, carrying the body parts of the hags they tore apart. So and escorting the little what was her name? Allison?
Yeah.
Alicia? The invisible
Alyssa?
cloak girl from the D&D cartoon.
Alyssa, I think. Yeah.
Alyssa, I can't remember.
Yeah.
She's one of the multiple revenants that have taken over the place of the other people at Arkan, whatever the fuck it's called.
And this is one of those like side tangents things, with all of the let's reboot this, let's reboot that. I just saw they're rebooting SWAT Cats but like why?
Fuck yeah!
Why have they not rebooted the D&D cartoon? Like, it makes no sense to me. Like, they could 100% bring it to a modern audience. People would love it, especially since D&D is so popular right now. I think that it'd be such a good idea.
The SWAT Cats was a way better cartoon than the D&D cartoon.
I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, coming out next year, 100% SWAT Cat. It's called SWAT Cat Revolution. It's a full-on series.
See, I want to see him reboot the Exo Squad. That was a badass fucking cartoon, man.
Man,
no one ever heard of that bitch. It was a good one.
I had one of those like someone shared a picture, and like I had like a mad flashback thing the other day because someone shared a picture from Mummies Alive, and I was like, "What the hell?" It's one of those shows that like came out in the '90s, and I'm like, "Why do I know this?"
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But
yeah, I do need to go ahead and finish up and get some dinner cooking for the little guy.
Yeah, I gotta get food and go to bed here.
The big guy, little guy here. Yeah, you gotta get up ass early in the morning. But hey, Vigilant, great seeing you. Thank you so much for hanging out. Anyone that's still hanging out with this, holy epic, good to see you. Sharp, appreciate all the comments. Some good conversations, guys. Good conversations. Always appreciate the feedback. Even though we may agree and we may disagree, it's still a good exchange of ideas. It's a good exchange of information. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you. Like I've said a couple times, even if I adamantly disagree, and I may still end where you guys think I started, I'm usually a little bit more to one side or the other. Because man, you can't learn if you're not willing to absorb the opposite side of the point. The Monk, I was like, this is a piece of shit when I first read it, but as we went through, it's like, it's got some potential. Yeah. The Monk is as much of a piece of shit as the rest of the 5/5 is. It's not any more of a stinky turd or less stinky than the rest of the system. It's in line with the toilet bowl that they're giving us.
I wholeheartedly disagree just because of the Wizard. I think the Wizard is the most broken thing that they have ever attempted to put into it, where it's like, I'm just going to make up spells, and now my Fireball is an Ice Ball, and I'm going to save that now. And like that is super busted to me. Like, just to be able to make up spells and save them like as they are is just wild to me.
But they're still limited by spell slots per day.
I mean, that's fair. But I mean, I think they can also get them back though, like the same way as everything else. But yeah,
I know.
Anyway, we'll talk about this forever if we don't get off.
Right, okay. And counterspell the keep the spell. Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah, there you go. Fact that if you counterspell and it doesn't hit, then you get to keep the spell slot, I believe. The counterspell slot is only expended if the spell is actually countered. That's some shit. No spell reward. Hey, that's okay. All I know is my groups are high enough level to where all of my casters can start using silvery barbs against them. So I'm looking forward to getting back into playing, man.
I'm just waiting for that first fireball to hit us.
Hell no. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. Interesting conversation. Appreciate y'all being here as always. He and I are here every Thursday, 3 p.m. to 3:30 to 5:30 Central, 4:30 to 6:30 Eastern. Yeah. And I ain't even try to do the math for you over there on the Australian continent or any of my European continent guys. Apologies, I ain't doing that kind of math at this point of the day.
No, that's completely fair.
But yeah, Monday to Friday, join me over on my channel. We're always chatting D&D. We're in the middle of a pretty deep world building conversation. It's been a lot of fun. Been a lot of fun. This is one of those what ifs, how abouts. Ooh, this is cool. So invite you to join me over there. And Josh, you do your outies.
Yeah, so you can also come join us for live play sessions every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday over on my channel. It is 9 p.m. Oh wait, sorry, every other Thursday now. Um, every Tuesday, every other Thursday, and Friday, every Friday. We do live play over on my channel. We do Greyhawk on Tuesdays. We do what we do in the Shadows of Barovia, a modified Strahd campaign on Thursdays,
Fucking
and
running joke.
we've been running a sigil campaign. So I mean, I know that just came out not too long ago, but we've been running one for a couple months now, and you guys
Shit,
can
6 months.
yeah. Oh man, has it really been that long?
Well, do we have so many
That's true.
fucking
That's
misses? But
true.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I
Wow,
mean,
yeah, it's been that long.
yeah, it's like we play it. To say we've been playing D&D for 2 years. Yeah, but
Yeah,
we
yeah,
miss a lot of time. But life happens, baby. It's
yeah.
okay.
It is what it
Everyone got
is.
job. Everyone got family. Everyone's got shit that pops up. But yeah, we've been at it for a while,
Yeah,
and they're fun.
but yeah, yeah. So come and join in on those things. I'm just bringing that up because I know that a lot of people are probably interested in it, and not a whole lot of campaigns are probably very far into it, so they can kind of come and see get a
Yeah,
little bit of
that's
a
true.
taste of it.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
good point for Planescape.
yeah.
Shit. Speaking of my Sunday Planescape got overbooked, man. I gotta. It's like how y'all gonna put 9 people on my table?
It's
Seriously?
bonkers to me. Like I watch these I don't want to put quotes around it, but like professional DMs like Matt Mercer and Brennan Lee Mulligan and stuff like that. And it's like, how
Yeah.
are you running a table with fucking like 8, 9, 10 people at it? Like that's bonkers to me.
That's it. Yeah. So I'm I'm
Oh,
I'm begging and pleading to find me another day, find me another time. We'll split it into two. He's had a lot of requests for Planescape campaigns. I can fill up 2 tables easy.
yeah,
But don't make me do 9. Please, God, don't make me do 9 every week.
yeah,
That's just that there's not that's table time. That's just that much
absolutely.
less time that everyone at the table has when there's that many more people at the table. I ain't afraid it makes my life easier because they're going to be arguing with each other so much with 9 people that I'm not going to have to present much content each session.
Yeah, but now I can't. Now a combat session takes 2 damn sessions because there's 9 people.
Yep, yep. Man,
But
but the
yeah,
first world problems. Oh no, I
yeah,
have too many people in my paid D&D game.
yeah,
Shit.
right. But yeah,
I apologize.
other than D&D, I am playing through Kingdom Hearts right now. I am on going to be starting episode 3 of Birth by Sleep. I've started Birth by Sleep this week. We are on Terra's campaign. If you want to come and watch that stuff,
Mondays I'll be streaming Zomboid late at night. Tuesdays I'll be streaming EQ Project Quorum late at night.
and then
Over
Saturday,
on there.
Sam and I are about to actually start a new game. We just finished the Ascent this last week and the DLC for it. So we will be starting a new game. I think we're going because I've presented a few things to her. I think we're going to be playing a game that's called Secrets and Spells. It's kind of like a roguelite, like Harry Potter style game, like where you play wizards and witches and stuff.
Can't you play fucking Stardew Valley or something sweet and fun and nice with her that you know she's gonna like? You keep coming with these crazy ass hardcore games that give me a fucking headache trying to watch, man. And then you get mad
she
because she gets motion sick.
she loved the Ascent. Like she was super into that.
Yeah, that was funny. That was
And
pretty
this
fun
game's
watching though.
kind of in a similar vein where it's like a top down like little like twin stick style shooter thing, but you're just
Cool.
wizards now in it. But
Pew
yeah,
pew pew.
yeah,
Magica. That
I
was the
think
name
it'll
of
be
that
fun.
game.
I think it'll be
Cool.
fun. But
Y'all
yeah,
be safe
anyways,
out there.
yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you guys being here. Love the input. Love the discussion. Vigilance, good man. Good chatting with you again, dude. Don't be a stranger. Pick up a Discord call once in a while. Let's just bullshit. Even though we ain't been able to play, we can still chat, man. Damn.
Absolutely.
And likewise, everyone else out there. I'm a shameless Discord plug. If you hadn't done yours, you should.
Wait. Oh yeah, you guys can click on my Discord and follow
Join me
me.
on my Discord.
Yeah, it's linked in my bio. You guys can join it.
Same.
Yeah.
Y'all be safe. I'm about to push my off button unless you got anything else
Nope.
to say, man.
Nope. That's it. We'll see you guys later.
See you soon. Take
Bye,
care. Bye bye.
chums.